No, I don't like that people have celebrities in this kind of void to where it's like you're forced to be because you're a public figure, like a role model for children. And it's like, do you know how much responsibility that is?
Yeah, no, that needs to be the
sign up for.
Yeah, like, bro, like I gotta wake up, think about how I can go about doing my life right, and then think about how I can go about doing my life right for someone else's child. Hell no. Hell no. I can just picture celebrities 6 drinks in and they're like, shit, I can't do a 7th. I'm somebody's hero. Like, what? The hell no.
You know what I mean?
If you don't load them rounds back up.
I mean, celebrities hide their cups or like, you know, when they don't like
sororities do that too, by the way.
Like, like they're scared.
To me, that's crazy. That's crazy that you force people to live in a world like that, to where it's like you can't say the wrong thing, you can't think the wrong thing, or you are gone.
Within reason.
I've seen people get canceled for less.
I'm just saying we live within reason. You can't just say anything.
Yes, I am with you. I am with you on that. But I mean, even a mistake, like if I'm, I don't know. There's very few things that I'm like, all right, you do that. There's just like, all right, you're banished, you're gone. Because to me, mistakes just happen all the time. And if regular people can make those same mistakes, I don't understand. But anyway, welcome everybody to another new episode of GVN Talk. This episode, we will be breaking down the good, the bad, and the ugly of remakes and reboots. Now, I did sow a little confusion amongst my team. This is a open-ended conversation, not necessarily a list.
Sorry, communicating.
No. Because you asked list, and I said yeah, and then I was like, shit, there's no need for a list.
That's fine. I literally just texted Juwaan like 15 minutes ago, like, so what's the topic?
Right. So
what is it again?
I knew what the topic was, but I think we were also confused from like last time because like the costumes we thought were for today.
Right.
So I think that's also why.
Yeah, no,
that's disorganized.
That's why I said, to me, that falls on me. I got confused within my own head. But if you have a list, that's perfect because you now just have examples you can talk about to defend whatever side you fall on under the good, the bad, and the ugly of remakes and reboots.
So we can do as many as we want then?
How many do you have?
No, I'm kidding. Well, it depends.
Let me just say, do you know that trope in like cartoons where like someone's like, hey, can you go to the store for me? And like, yeah, do you have a list? And he's like, yeah, it's not much. And then he just rolls out like a full.
Yeah.
In my mind,
it's not that bad. It's not that long. That's a little dramatic.
Well, all right.
Well, no, because like when you thought of like it's one of those things that like when you love a movie, you also forget that it's like technically a reboot of it. So it kind of like got you, looking at everything else. So that's why I was like, ooh, that's a good one I can mention. So that's why the list is like, okay. I mean, if we don't have a list, then like it's fine. But like I'm just saying, like I have a few in my brain already.
Well, this is more, Jayla, correct me if I'm wrong. This is more so of you want to know where we stand on remakes and reboots.
Where we stand, ones we like, ones we wish were better, ones we didn't enjoy, and
wish they never got made at all, kind of thing.
Yeah. We live in a world that has a lot of reboots going on, remakes going on, requels. That's what it was.
I was about to say requels. That's interesting.
Shout out to Scream 5. For instance, I mean, we have Top Gun coming soon.
Oh my God, yeah. Well. That's like a sequel, though. So does that count as like a
reboot sequel?
I call it as a requel because I say it's a requel because
they got to refresh.
They bring in legacy characters.
Very different from a remake. Sometimes,
right? They bring in a legacy character while introducing this all new cast to pass down the baton to.
That's true. Okay.
Okay. Well, I will say this: knowing that it's a Tom Cruise movie, it's very unlikely that this is a torch being passed. And
I think he's going to die.
I do not believe he's going to die.
He's gonna die.
Only because I'm like, when what's his name died in the first one, I'm like, that hit hard. But if you just have someone dying in each one of these movies, it then becomes like, well, how long can I expect to enjoy this character?
I don't
before
think
you just have him die.
Well, look. Hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's that kind of situation. I think it's more of like a character arc kind of thing of him fulfilling, what happened in the first one, and kind of showing his growth and change. It's like a Tony Stark situation. It was for what needed to be done for his team, for the position he's in, because in the trailer he starts out and he's like, just so you know, I'm not a teacher. And I think it'd be a very interesting story within it to see him take on that responsibility and do what he has to need to do for his team versus for himself. So I think it'd be really interesting. I think he's going to die, but I do think it's a requel because it's still ushering in. It's not a straight sequel because it's still ushering in a new cast. It's still ushering in this next generation of people within the team. So I think it falls under the category personally. But if you want to do like
Jurassic World,
yeah, exactly.
Requel.
Yeah,
Jurassic
it's like bringing in the
World
old and then with the new to kind of get newer audiences and the old ones to come see it.
Revitalize that franchise, and you can do that.
Well, it's that nostalgia that they kind of can kind of slide into movies and be like, oh, the OG character that I remember from the first film or whatever.
I think you guys
make it more of a deal.
I think you're forgetting the term soft reboot though. I consider the Jurassic Park a soft reboot.
Little bullet point.
No, I would say soft reboot actually, yeah.
Because here's why it's a soft reboot. They started this universe without you really knowing that it was connected to the old. You saw the truck to where you're like, okay, that's the OG truck. But then when you saw Jeff Goldblum later on, because remember there was no Jeff Goldblum or anyone in the first movie. That was all Chris Pratt in the new cast. And then you saw the old characters start to come back, but they had already established that this is a new world. But right, a new world within the same world.
Yeah, they're okay.
Right, a new world within the same world. Right. So it's a soft reboot. It's a soft reboot, very soft.
So like also like the Suicide Squad, like a continuation, but like you can forget about the other one.
Right. But I will say, the more James Gunn talked about that movie, the more he did make it seem like there wasn't a movie that came before mine. Like he kept saying it's not a sequel, and it's like, well. Yeah. James, I saw her before. Like, I've seen Harley Quinn before.
They've met each other before.
Right. Yeah. So I'm like, you keep saying this, but it's a sequel, whether you like it or not. It's 100%. It's not even a soft reboot. It's just a pure sequel. That's it. So you can try to make us forget about the first one. I will never forget about you, Jared Leto, ever. I love you.
That's right. That's right.
Yes, Trevon. Yes, Trevon. Let's preach it.
That's absolutely right.
Thank you.
I'm happy you guys enjoyed it.
Let's preach it, Trevon.
Thank you.
Look, I will never accept another Joker till we get him back. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, no.
Oh, come on, Juwaan. Don't be like that.
All I'm saying.
I don't know about that, man.
Don't be like that.
Barry who? No, but all right. So let me introduce this panel, starting off with Trevon. Trevon, I thought that was the Netflix thing behind you, because that kind of does that. It is, right?
It is.
But,
all right, I thought I was going crazy. I thought that was.
They're the place of remakes. So they're the place of remakes. So I
thought
no, they're the place of cancellations. They're the place of cancellations.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
They did do Voltron, so I'll give them that. So,
I can't wait for the new Pacific Rim that comes out this upcoming week. Freaking love that show. Yeah, I love that show. They showed the trailer and it looks really freaking good. It looks way darker.
Wasn't it a movie?
Yeah, Pacific Rim was Charlie Hunnam movie. Then it was the John Boyega movie, but now it's a series on
Charlie Hunnam.
Netflix.
Will it be Green Arrow?
He better be.
No, that's John David Washington's spot.
No. His spot is Harvey.
No,
he
can do both. It's not connected.
No.
Shush! He's Harvey. He's literally Harvey. I do not care. I will die on this hill. He's my Harvey. He's my. Right. I need them for Bruce and Harvey.
Look, I don't usually do this. I don't ever do this. Trevon, you know me. I never bring this into it.
Oh no!
But to not have Oliver Queen be black, I do believe, would be a major travesty.
I think he's got the charisma for it.
It ventures into a whole nother telling of.
No, I mean I agree, but he screams Harvey like 100%.
I can disagree with that, but a black billionaire. That's a black billionaire. There's no drug problem. There's no. It just fell in my lap. It's just a pure telling that we see told all the time. To put that in That'd be beautiful to go along with Journey's
Black Canary.
Yes, Black Canary.
I need Roy. I just need Roy, please, please. I'll be on any project. Green Arrow's not even one of my favorite characters, but like, I need Roy. I need Roy in live action, please.
I don't know how the DCEU. I don't know because we haven't seen the DCEU really outside of what they're doing with Batgirl set up the next generation for anything.
I have no clue what's going to happen next with that.
So I don't know.
Optimistic, but I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. That's the way to be.
See, somebody asked me that yesterday, and I was like, honestly, I don't even have any idea, so I can't tell you.
No one does. Warner Brothers Discovery doesn't know what they're doing, so if they don't know, we don't know. But shout out Trevon, because you did have me think I was going a little crazy for a second. I'm like, that looks like the Netflix thing behind
exactly
you. I've seen it enough. Okay.
Who was it in the last stream that brought up Fear Street?
No.
Was that AJ? No.
No.
Was it?
I don't know.
It
Somebody
was-
I think it was you, Trayvon. I could have sworn it was you.
I haven't seen
No,
it.
Tristan.
No.
It might have been
Tristan.
Did.
Might have
Was
been
it Tristan? Okay,
Might have
we
been
just
Tristan.
started watching Fear Street because of that.
It was so
Yeah.
good. I
Oh my god, we just finished part 1 and 2. We have to start 3, but oh my god, it's so good.
I
We
meant
gotta
to
talk
bring that
about it
up.
when you
I
guys finish it.
love it.
I have to try it.
There's so many actors that, like, when I first saw the first movie, I was like, I don't know any of these people, and then, like, I kept seeing, and then, like, the second one, I, like, knew, like, half the actors.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my
cast
god.
is stacked.
I
Yeah.
do want to say, Jayla, you were supposed to have watched Dr. Sleep.
I'm sorry. Listen. Now I have to explain myself. So I watched Fear Street, and then my friends were like, "Oh, you haven't seen VHS 94 yet? You gotta watch VHS 94." So obviously,
Oh my goodness.
I had to.
Do you vouch for that movie?
I do.
They do
I
not
absolutely
get
do.
to derail
I
you.
absolutely do. It's the best VHS. I think it's my favorite as far as
There's
old
other
stories.
VHS movies?
Yes.
Okay.
Where have you
There's
been?
3 more.
Don't watch Viral. Just leave Viral alone. But 94 is my favorite so far. Quick little tidbit. It's great. The second story reminds me of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I love that so much. The third one is insane.
Oh, I gotta watch it. I gotta watch it now. If it reminds you of that, I
It's
love
on
scary stories to
Shudder.
tell in the dark.
Yeah, watch it tonight, guys, if you can. It's so good. But
Where is this at?
Blake, that's on our list now.
Shudder, right?
Shudder, yep.
Okay.
Okay.
And then I watched Super Dark Times, which was another amazing movie. And that led to I'm Not a Serial Killer. It's just like a whole rabbit hole. But I'm back now. So I can actually watch Dr. Sleep and, not fail you once again.
Yes, because Jamie fails me every day. Jamie does not watch Star Wars: The Clone Wars, so that is just a permanent disappointment. So please watch
Almost
Dr.
done with
Sleep.
season 3.
Yeah, I will
I
make.
kind of want to
Hold
go
on.
through another rewatch, to be honest.
Oh, I
Just
already started
for-
that. Yeah, I already started that. I'm getting ready for the next Kenobi series. I started that.
Yeah.
Started that. But
I might
yes,
start
please
this
watch-
week.
Please watch Dr. Sleep. It is such a beautiful
Absolutely, I
movie.
will.
Oh my goodness.
And
I love
Yeah,
it.
I gotta watch it. I have
I
not
watched
seen
both of
it.
those.
I think my list might be too long.
Wait, Trevon, you've seen it?
No, I'm looking at my list now. I'm a little nervous about it. I'm gonna delete some stuff.
Just watch Dr. Sleep, please. And don't forget the Hulu show that I told you guys about that I forgot about the name of. So
Thank you
yeah,
for
you're
that.
Something
go back and
Monster,
watch
right?
our old episodes. Monsterland. Was it Monsterland?
Monsterland.
Yes.
That was it.
Beautiful show. But again, we're not here for that. Let me finish introducing everybody. Next up is Blake. What's going on, Blake?
Nothing much. I'm excited. This is a good topic that I do have opinions on when it comes to remakes and reboots and the differences between the two. So it should be fun.
All right, absolutely. Sabrina, what's going on, Sabrina?
Hi! I'm so glad to be here as always. Another fun topic for the week. The weekend, I guess it's still technically the weekend.
Right.
But like Sundays are definitely like, don't get me wrong, all the streams are my favorite, but Sundays is just like the special topics I always get most excited for, especially this one, because I got a lot on my list.
You're hurting Moon Knight's feelings.
You are
Oh,
hurting
stop.
my feelings. Yeah.
I am not hurting his feelings. Listen,
Somewhere
you guys are all
trying
in
to-
Moon Knight. I'm still in Batman mode, so
2 more weeks.
Hold on. Time out. I took offense to that. I'm never not in Batman mode.
yeah, it's true. I'm in the
I'm
okay.
never
Let me
not in
rephrase that. The Batman mode.
I'm with you. Yes.
Counting down the seconds and hours and minutes until it drops on HBO Max because I have nothing left. Like people keep DMing me, they're like, "What else do you have?" And I was like, Kenobi, but like, I'm not ready to let go of the Batman yet.
I am ready to delete every streaming service when the Batman comes out on HBO Max. I don't have time for anything else. Nothing else. I'm only here for the Batman. That's it. It will become.
I'm so glad you get me.
It will become my religion, 100%.
Healthy.
Nothing else matters.
The Batman for the 100th time. Like, yeah, come on,
Yeah, my dad's gonna think I'm like a psychopath. I swear. Like, he already was like, after seeing it 6 times, he was like, "All right, that's a little much." And now when I like watch it like almost every day, he's gonna be like, "What the heck?"
Yeah, I'll just be randomly crying at 12 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. Why? Because of the Batman. That's it.
No, I want to watch it so much that I can recite every single line of that movie.
Yes, that's what I want too.
That's my new personality trait.
I'm
yes,
happy
100%. 100%.
Happy for y'all.
I want to go around to nurseries and just play that movie so they know it by heart. Like they don't know words yet, but their first words.
Teach future kids, the new generation. Absolutely.
Like I'm just picturing a mother, like, oh my God, he's about to say "mama" or "dad." Vengeance. Yes.
Vengeance.
Yes.
He said it. Oh my God, he said it.
Yes, that'll be a beautiful baby.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Bright future ahead.
And welcoming back the person who gave us the topic for this episode, the person who has been trailblazing GVN, Jayla. Welcome back, Jayla.
Thank you. What an introduction. I had a crazy week, but I'm so happy to be back with my favorite people. Feels like I'm coming back home. I'm very excited to get into this topic tonight, specifically about one movie that I have a lot of feelings for.
Okay. All right. Well, then let's get it started, Jayla. Kick us off. What are your thoughts on the good, the bad, and the ugly of remakes and reboots?
So, when it comes to horror movies, I think horror movies get the worst hand dealt when it comes to this topic. It's just a mess. And I can confidently say that the one horror franchise that has the worst problem with this is easily Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The timeline is all broken up. They keep doing this movie as a direct sequel to the original, and it's just frustrating because the most recent one that came out this year, it's on Netflix if you want to watch it, I guess. It says it's a direct sequel to the first one, and it has nothing to do with the original besides Leatherface is there, I guess.
Besides butchering the one survivor from the first movie.
That made me so mad. How
literally.
Like the end of Texas.
There's so much wrong with that movie. It makes me sick.
It's so iconic, and they did that as a tribute to it.
Yeah.
It's honestly heartbreaking because the guys that did the Evil Dead remake, which was fantastic, had a hand in this, and it has nothing about the spirit of the original, nothing that made the original scary in it, nothing like anyone who's watched the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre would ever do. And I don't know how it happened.
Oh.
Yeah, so. I will not be rewatching.
No, I was frustrated.
I mean, yes. Look, my thoughts on remake.
Don't defend this movie.
There is no defending for that movie.
No, do not, please.
I was about to judge you so hard.
Listen, I'm all about, watch movies for yourself and judge, but a part of me kind of just wants to say don't waste your time because I wish I could get back what I wasted on this movie.
I never believe in that. I believe in if I had to sit through that shit, somebody else has to also. I very much love to share my misery. No, I mean, to me, I'm always of the mindset of if there's a generation that likes it, it's necessary to continue it, right? And I always have them. Okay, so I use this example a lot, Trevon. You've heard this ad nauseum, but The Green Knight came out last year, right?
Right.
Beautiful goddamn movie. One of the most beautiful movies of the year. No one saw it. No one went out, saw it, supported it, talked about it. That's as original as you can possibly get for a movie, right?
Right.
So I'm like, we scream every day, give me originality. Give me something different. Let's do something different. Looper is not praised enough, right? Jumper is not praised enough. There's just so many movies, Malignant. There's so many movies that are different that people are clamoring for that they don't go and see. So I'm like, bro, you just want to see the big box office stuff.
Mhm.
That's where the remakes and reboots and stuff like that come from. Hollywood is like, look, bro, I dropped The Green Knight last year. Ain't nobody talk about it. So guess what we about to do? King Arthur Part 37. That's what we're about to give him, because that works apparently, right? So to me, that's why I say I always appreciate. I think a lot of the reasons why people don't like remakes and reboots is because we tend to have more bad than good. It's not the concept of remaking or rebooting. It's that you failed, right? Because if all these remakes and reboots were great, like, for example, Trevon, and I'm going to pass it to you. So a lot of people talk trash about the Jaden Karate Kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can make an argument that people didn't like it because it wasn't good. That's not my opinion. I'm saying you could make the argument.
That's my opinion.
But you go watch Cobra Kai. If you go watch Cobra Kai, not one person complains about that, right? It's essentially the same. It's essentially the same exact concept.
No.
It's not the same thing.
It's a reimagining of a story that already exists. Even though it's a continuation, it is a continuation.
It's a continuation more than a reboot.
Yeah.
But I remember when Jaden's movie came out, the conversation wasn't it was good or bad. The conversation is you don't touch a masterpiece. You leave it alone. There was nothing wrong with the original
saw it in
Karate Kid,
theaters,
right?
I liked that movie, but I still don't think it beats the originals, especially the first one. No.
100%.
It doesn't beat Julie's either. To me, the next Karate Kid. Sorry, it doesn't beat.
Say that again.
The female. Remember when Julie, the one that.
Oh my God, that's right. Oh my God.
Yeah, so it doesn't beat that either. So I don't know. I don't put that.
Yeah, but like I said, Cobra Kai, I think it's just like, see, like with that, it's like a story continuation, but it does have like a newer cast. So I mean, like, yeah, but
they did it well.
Yeah. But it's not a reboot because it's like a continuation of them older. You know what I mean?
Right. I look at it like this. Like, I appreciated the newer Annie that we got. Right? I love that fucking movie. I could watch that every day of my life. Makes me cry every time. You know what I don't put on? The original Annie. Like, I have no interest in watching that. I have no interest in watching the black and I don't want to see any of that. I don't. It wasn't made for me, right? It was made for that time. I'm not saying it's not a good movie. That's not my place to say that. It just wasn't made for my time. You see the newer Annie, and it's like, it's bright, it's colorful, it feels newer age, right? It feels like it's trying to speak to a different audience. So all I'm saying is, again, I just think the argument of whether or not something should be rebooted or remade comes down to the execution. Because if it's done well, then you usually don't hear complaints, right?
21 Jump Street.
21 Jump. Yeah. Can I say this, Jayla? 21 Jump Street did something rare. 21 Jump Street made the movie, right? And it was obviously drastically different than its counterpart. But there were so many kids in my generation, probably all my generation, that had no fucking idea 21 Jump Street had existed. I remember my dad when Johnny Depp did the face reveal, he was just like, "Oh shit, that's so cool." And I'm like, "Yeah, Johnny Depp's in the movie." He's like, "No, he was part of the original 21 Jump Street." I'm like, "Original?" I'm like,
I always forget about that.
It's easily forgettable. Now, if you tell somebody older that, they'll curse you out because they swear by it, right? But to us, we're like, I didn't know that fucking existed. What is that, right? So to me, that's a perfect example, Jayla, because you look at that and you're like, it's a retelling of a story that already exists, but it's drastically different, right?
And it was fitted for the generation, a new generation, very, very literally, and more so than a lot of other reboots do. The way that they transition it and translate it, I guess, for a new generation is so clear, but done so well that we still quote the movie. Everyone, and, they followed up with a great sequel too, which is a double rare thing. Right. I do think that it's something to keep in mind when we, go forward with the reboots and the remakes and the requels, which is my new favorite thing to say, thanks to Scream 5. Yeah, I love that because Scream 5 itself is a total requel. And I guess Halloween kind of really started, like really set in the trend of the new brand or the modernized version of doing a reboot or a a remake. They kind of brought this new take where they like put them all together and give us something new, giving something old. And I'm like, I can't speak today. I'm sorry. I'm interested to see people build off this new structure that we see with reboots and requels and sequels and all the fun stuff in between.
Right. Go ahead, Trevon.
But for me, what I was thinking about was when you were talking about the remakes or the reboots or however they do it. I think if it's enough, like you just said, 21 Jump Street, if it's enough time away that we don't even remember the old one, I think it works perfectly. I think it's rare when it works where we still remember the previous ones. Like for Scream, them calling it Scream. I remember I was like, "It's Scream not that old for you to do that." I was like, "It's not." I remember the ones previous. It's not like it's been 30, 40 years ago. Like no. I still remember those movies quite vividly.
I'm going to be honest. I didn't know that the 2011 one was even made.
I thought.
Oh, the show? Yeah.
No.
Four is good.
Four,
I don't care what you say.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they're talking about the show.
I'm not saying that Scream 4 was bad. I'm saying because I went back and did a rewatch before this new Scream came out, right? So I'm like, okay, Scream 1, Scream 2, right? Scream 3. Right. Like, all right, I'm all ready for Scream 4. And shout out to Joe from Just Your Average Joe. He goes, no, there's 4. This one's 5. I'm like, there's no fucking way there was 4. I would have heard about the 4th one. Because I'm dead serious. There was 4 of them. Yeah, that was 4. I went back, I watched 4 and was just like, I know how I missed it, but I did not know there was a Scream 4. So I did watch it. It was the most different with its reveal. It was one of those reveals that I was just like, I legit didn't have that person pegged whatsoever. All the other past Screams, you're kind of like, you seem crazy enough, right? Like you're in you're top 3 of who could be this killer, right? This one was the one I was just like, well, I'll be damned. That's different. That's new. I didn't see it coming. So I do appreciate Scream 4, but yeah, I mean, to what you're saying, Trevon, I think that works if it didn't do well in the box office. If it didn't do well in the box office, that means a lot of people didn't go support it, right? So it's like if you wanted to do a reboot real quick, people didn't care enough about the last one for that to be like, whoa, didn't you just make one? Because to them, they're like, I didn't see it anyway. So, all right, what's this new telling of it? Because I tell you this, the last Saw movie to the new Saw movie that we got, it's not a big gap. It's not a major gap. It's not 10 plus years.
It was Jigsaw, right?
Yeah, it was Jigsaw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then they do another one called Spiral or something.
Yeah,
that was a Chris Rock one.
I didn't.
It's not bad. It's not bad. It's one of those things where it's like, if they had rebooted it, right? Like completely rebooted it. John wasn't the original Jigsaw or whatever. I think that movie would have hit a lot better. But because it was trying to play off of a franchise that had died a long time ago, it was just like, you're continuing the story we told you we didn't like 6 movies ago. Like, why are you still doing the same premise? Reboot it, get a new figure that you have as the iconic voice for that. And then we're like, all right, great. Let's see how this new telling of it is. But for you to go, no, it's John. Like, it's from the legacy of John. It's like, bro, that's what Jigsaw did. That's what Saw 7 did. That's what Saw 6 did. Saw 5.
There's always a new partner. There's always a new partner.
Right. You're just like, I'm done.
Riff was like, who was the new?
Yeah, there isn't much to do after kind of all that.
I will say, though, Scream is probably the only horror franchise that falls back on the same thing, but it weirdly keeps working, right? Like, after a while, you're like, bro, all right, it can't just keep being people that pop up that knew Sydney, and that's why they want to kill Sydney. Like, it should be something new where it's someone new, and Sydney has to come save them from becoming the new Sydney, right? Essentially what Scream 5 was. But the recipe is different, but the same, and it works. I've never had that feeling with a horror franchise where they use the same formula, and it just keeps working.
Right.
Scream is so different in the sense of that, right? Because think about Friday the 13th. Probably by the 3rd Friday the 13th, we were like, all right, bro, I'm done.
The first 3 were all kind of remakes of themselves.
Right, exactly. So it's like, bro, I am done. You got to stop this. No more. I tap out. Don't give me this anymore. And then they just
I
kept
think
going.
That's why we
going
send everyone to
going.
space.
Right. That's why they said, hey, let's send him to space. That might be different. Yeah,
That's
let's try that.
different. He's in space. He's like,
He kills people in sleeping bags.
Yeah,
Like,
in
it's
space.
different.
Because in space we have sleeping bags.
He kills people in video games. Freddy and Jason did that actually.
Yeah,
They
that's
sure
very
did.
true. The Nintendo glove.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh
great.
my
Power
God.
glove.
That was
Jesus.
so great. Iconic moment from Freddy.
But Trevon, how do you feel about this topic as a whole? And what are some of the ones that, if you're in favor of it, some of the ones that stand out to you?
Oh, I have a list of films I'm in favor of.
I believe you do.
I actually really enjoy it. I don't, when I hear they're doing it, I'm like, okay, that's fine. It's one right now that I am very cautiously, because it's really old, and I was like, okay, yes, you should possibly do it, which is Clue. I love that damn movie. Damn, I love it so much. I can
never
probably
seen
recite
Clue.
it. Oh my God.
Oh my God, you've never seen Clue?
Oh my God. It
Oh,
is
you gotta
godly.
watch it.
I love it.
No.
You gotta
I
watch
love
it.
it.
It is so good.
It's so
a
good, man.
classic.
Especially like I love
You're being stubborn.
the ending is really funny when they do like different like
No, I
different
completely
people.
agree.
It's so funny.
I
It's so
so
funny.
agree. We're
It's so
definitely in a
funny.
time when we need that. Yeah, like Knives Out kind of filled that
Yes,
gap a
it
little
did.
bit.
Yes, it did.
But I would love to see
And
another.
Ready or
just straight up
Not,
Clue.
remember Ready or Not?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
that was so.
yeah,
They need to just
yeah.
mix the two together, and then
Yeah.
mwah, we're good.
Yes, yeah.
That
Ready
is
or
such a
Not.
good point.
Ready or Not, not really. That wasn't a murder
It's more
mystery.
of the setting and the general
Yeah,
feel.
the
Oh,
setting.
okay. I get you.
And
I
the
get you. I was about to
house
say,
and-
yeah, it wasn't a
Not
murder
the-
mystery.
not
They
the-
knew
yeah,
who it was.
but yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
It's the
Yeah.
setting. I see where your
Oh,
head's at.
yes.
Yeah.
I have
see where your
I have
head's
seen
at.
that clue. I have seen that clue. I don't know. I
Yeah.
was thinking of another movie that I thought you were talking about.
But Ryan Reynolds supposed to be doing it.
Yes, Ryan Reynolds and Jason Bateman. Yeah.
Which I was like, okay, all right, let me see. Hopefully, because it could be so.
I'm
fun.
not
could
a
be
big
so
fan
fun.
of murder mysteries because usually they fail. Like, I mean, they fail big.
I don't know.
Like the
Knives Out didn't
reveal.
fail, you know?
No. That's why I was saying. That's what I was saying. I was very.
The second one, I'm really.
Even though, let me just
It's
say this.
fast.
Let me just say this. We give Knives Out a lot of credit, but there's not one person that watched that movie that didn't think it was the person who it was at the beginning. And then you see the movie play out and you're like, oh, maybe
That's
it's
the
not.
whole.
That's the
point.
fun part. That's the fun of it.
That's
the
what
journey.
irks me though. Because I'm like, part of me is like, I fucking guessed that from the trailer.
Oh no, I didn't guess like the actual like the big at the end or the middle.
The end.
No, I never guessed that. I didn't.
I thought that was the first thing I thought when the movie started, and I'm like,
really?
I don't see you.
We'll have to talk about that then.
Like, I don't see you. Like, it's you.
We'll have to get into it that.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that later. But so
I can.
yeah, they are working on that, Trevon, with Ryan Reynolds and Jason Bateman.
I know. I'm very excited and scared too. But yeah. Okay, so that's the only one I'm like, I don't know. But I have like a list. I'm just gonna run down it real quick.
Mhm.
The ones that I really like. So for me, The Parent Trap, I didn't even know that there was an old one, to be honest with you. All I know is a Lindsay Lohan one, and I love that one to the end. I love it. I can watch it right now. I love it. Okay, I just said Clue already. I had on here to be funny to you guys that the Batman is far superior than Batman Begins, and that's a reboot for me or whatever. So I say it's great, much better than Batman Begins because I hated Batman Begins and Dark Knight Rises. All right, so and Freaky Friday with Lindsay Lohan. I think that is great. I did not know that was the old one of that. I love that movie.
We technically got a remake of that called Freaky.
We did.
Freaky essentially was a remake of that.
And they
Are you talking about like the new one that came out?
Yeah, with Vince Vaughn.
I didn't even.
No, there was like another one they did like for Disney, and I was like,
we did an actual Disney one, and then we had the Vince Vaughn one.
Got you. Okay, got you.
Guess which one was better?
The Vince
mm.
Vaughn one.
Yeah.
The Vince Vaughn one for
Absolutely.
sure.
Yeah. And I guess I like some of the stuff that like continued, like Veronica Mars when that came back. I remember I got into that late, and then when the movie, and then I think they did the show. It was just they were just feeding me because I was like, I love this character. So I was like, I didn't like the ending of the show, but you know that's no here nor there. And then we got Gilmore Girls. I love when that came back. because that ended, and then they brought that back for Netflix. That's why I say like Netflix always bringing stuff back. Voltron, loved that. That was just a whole new retelling of it to me, like the way they did Voltron on Netflix. Really enjoyed that too. Bel Air, of course, is amazing. I wanted the Boondocks. I know they're not doing it now because of the controversy behind it. That show is that show is something.
I
so
think
it would have been interesting.
I think a lot to do with them not doing it has to do with John Witherspoon passing. And trying to make it work with no grandpa. Like that's a lot to make. It's like same reason Ice Cube said he'll never make another Friday now that John Witherspoon has passed. Because to do it without him is just like, he was a massive part of that movie and that show. To just do it over him sounds excessive. So I think that has something to do with it. It's interesting that you say that when you say about Black Panther. You know how you say that T'Challa, we need the character. Like, I really love the Boondocks, and I feel like they could get somebody else to voice Grandpa. Difference is
that's what I'm saying.
But the difference is with that, Trevon, is the character of Grandpa is singular. That was created for John Witherspoon. That wasn't created in a book, in a comic, in another movie somewhere. That was created for him. Pops and Friday was created for him. That wasn't created.
I didn't
for
say about
else.
Friday. I mean, Friday can,
Boondocks. It was created for him. T'Challa is a character that existed since the 60s in the comic book. So that's not Chadwick Boseman's character that they created for him. So to have a character die with someone, that is drastic. But for a show that character was created for that specific person, that's different. Like if they wanted to remake The Office, but they said there's no way anyone could ever be Dwight or Michael or Jim. That's different, right? Because those characters were made for those specific actors, right? So then you go, well, then I understand
they're going to remake The Office one day. They're going to do it.
Not with those same characters. I can guarantee you it'll be a continuation. It'll pick up where the original Office left off, where there were all new people in the office. I think Stanley retired. I think they'll do that. But to try to do another Michael, that's asking a lot. I mean, hell, the British version did it. And we don't even talk about the British version. The British version essentially did the same thing.
I thought the British version was first.
Oh, no, the British version was first. You're absolutely right. That makes it even worse. That makes it even worse. That came first and we never talk about it.
Same thing we do with Shameless. I mean, we don't talk about like the original Shameless. I didn't even know.
Didn't know there was original Shameless.
Yeah.
I haven't even watched Shameless, so.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, so I mean, look, I like your list a lot. I just think I don't know. It's tough. Tell me your list one more time, Trevon. Tell me your list one more time.
The Parent Trap, Clue. I said The Batman, Freaky Friday with Lindsay Lohan. Veronica Mars continuing. Gilmore Girls continuing. I have Screen 5 up here too. We talked about it earlier, so that's why I mentioned it. Also, Proud Family, Pit Louder and Prouder. I actually really like that. I like continuing the way they're doing it. Voltron, Bel Air. Yeah.
I will say that stuff like Parent Trap you could redo, but I think if you want to redo things like that are smaller projects that are iconic, right? I'll never knock that. You got to go big with the names. You got to go really big with the names. So I think to do that, it's better to go big with the names when you reboot it. Like if you were to do Freaky Friday, you should get like Zendaya and somebody big. You know what I'm saying? And redo it like that. Because you need a big name to kind of carry that. You do just any name and it doesn't work. We'll never be looking at another Parent Trap movie or project for years. It'll bury it, right? So to me, get a big name. Get a big name, sell it that way. I think would be great. What's wrong, Jayla?
My mic kind of just is fine.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry.
You scared me for a second. I'm like, oh, what's going on over there?
My button fell off my mic. No big deal.
Oh, okay. You were scaring me. I'm like, oh, what's happening?
So what happened?
Blake, I'll go to you. What are your thoughts on remakes, reboots, and I feel like there was a third one. Maybe there's
for the longest time I have always said like there should be certain movies that you're not allowed to touch. They're that good. I've come around to the fact that I wouldn't want to restrict anyone from like bringing a movie or story to the new generation, But that same amount of movies that I would have back then said don't remake, I would say be very careful with, because they're very easy to mess up. Like the ones we haven't gotten, like Jaws, that died decades ago, like Back to the Future, that ended decades ago. Like those movies you just don't do again, because nothing's been better than what's been done before. And what's the point? Like, what are you really trying to revitalize in that franchise? Like for kids growing up now, if you want to show them Jaws, they'll enjoy Jaws. And same goes for Back to the Future. But for other stuff like Star Wars, obviously they're not remaking that. They rebooted it with Force Awakens, and they're just continuing the story, or equal is the term that is being thrown around for that. I agree there are a ton of terrible remakes, but just going through like a lot of the remakes that there have been, I really enjoy the ones that don't necessarily retell the story of the original. They just kind of take the concept and have fun with it. Like I think one of the best movies to do was Friday the 13th, which combined the first 3 movies, and kind of like you can tell it was made by fans of Jason, because they gave him that little underground tunnel to explain how he gets everywhere across the camp or whatever. Like I thought that was a really creative thing to do with him, and how he had the bag on his head that gets ripped off at some point, so he finds the hockey mask, just stuff like that. And A Star Is Born, a movie that's been remade several times, and I love the most recent one too. So I would just say no movie is off limits, but tread lightly when it comes to some of the classics. One that I wanted to bring up because I think it fit a movie you just mentioned, I forget, but completely changes it up to like kind of make it fit modern day. But in your example, it was in a good reason. Mine is one that I don't like, and I forget the general consensus, but it's Point Break. I don't remember what a lot of people thought of that remake.
I haven't seen any of
No,
it.
I cannot stand it. I cannot stand it. I hate it so much.
Because I love the original, and the new one just I feel like it would have been a better movie if it wasn't Point Break. Like if it was just its own thing, like an original movie.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I think if when they reboot certain movies and it like ends up being, I don't want to be mean and say like a dumpster fire. It's like it's disrespectful to even like if it's not going to be as good as the original. It's like I wish you didn't even touch it, because like now it's just like it's disrespectful to like the masterpiece that it already was. Like it should have been left alone.
I think
but like because they rebooted it, what you change and what you keep. Yeah.
And I feel like Point Break changed just a tad too much. Like it was just kind of a shell of what the original movie was.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's
they did that a lot with a lot of Patrick Swayze movies, and it bothered me because they are all not good.
Yeah.
That's a good point. That's a really good point, actually. I don't know why.
Yeah.
That's actually like half of them are on my list because like they pissed me off that bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. I always say no movie tries outside of Josh Whedon's Justice League. Anyway, no movie tries to be bad. So I think when they made it with the purest of intentions. It didn't work, right? And I think sometimes, like for me, Blake, Godfather and Godfather 2 are non-comic book wise the 2 greatest movies I've ever seen, and nothing will ever change that. I know I thought for the longest Marlon Brando. Oh, bless you. I'm sorry, Marlon Brando. What he brought, what we got from De Niro, what we got from Robert Duvall, what we got from Al Pacino. I can just keep going on and on. You never touch that, right? And then this was never proven, but there was a rumor that we could get a prequel with Leonardo DiCaprio playing the Godfather himself, right? And when I thought about it, I said, well, if there is anybody that could be a young Marlon Brando, it would probably be Leonardo DiCaprio. And I immediately said, well, shit. Well, maybe my issue isn't with remaking things. It's with how you go about it and who you get to do it. But if you told me Martin Scorsese and Leonardo DiCaprio are doing a prequel to The Godfather, and do you think I'm saying no to that?
Yeah.
Hell no. But you also have to set up realistic expectations, right? So you go, that's an amazing team up. That's an iconic team up. But you'll never get the taste that you got from the first 2, because there were only 2 Godfather movies. So you'll never get the feeling you got with those two original Godfather movies. I know what you're thinking, Jayla, but a third does not exist.
I was gonna say, don't enough people like the third one?
No, because it never happened. Just like there's only a certain amount of Ghostbuster movies. There's a specific one that does not exist. That's just a Saturday Night Live sketch. That's all that was.
I see your point. We're good.
But to me, I started to think it just depends on me setting my expectations, realistic expectations. Like, you know, this will never be what I know the original was, but I could accept it for being good, right? It's good, just not great. And I think when you look at it that way, it's more acceptable. Like, look, hell, I went into Scream 5. I told Trevon the minute I finished that movie, Scream 5 to me is the best of all five. Easy. Not even hard for me to wrap my head around that. It's easily the best. Because
better than the first one.
100%. 100%. Because it was able to blend the humor of it with you taking it oh so very seriously. And I thought the first one was more so just such a... It was really just trying to knock the genre, right?
I'm just staring at Jayla doing her best.
No, Jayla, look, I'm not saying the first one is bad. I just, if an alien landed on Earth and said, hey, I heard about these Scream movies. Which one should I watch first? 5. Start with 5 and go backwards. Go backwards.
That is an interesting revelation to have.
Do that way.
That's quite the take.
Look, I love Scream 5. I love it with all my heart. Trevon, you're my witness.
I don't
Now it's done.
disagree. It was really good. I don't know.
I don't disagree that it was good.
Look, I want to give a shout out to my brother Joel. He's been trying to get the world to think more like this. You don't have to knock something to praise something else, right?
No,
so
I agree. I agree.
Scream 5. It's not saying that anything else in that Scream franchise is inferior.
It's like that Twitter post saying, like, if you love pancakes, someone replies to you like, oh, so you hate waffles? Like, no, I didn't say that.
Just if you're making me breakfast, I want pancakes. Like, it has nothing to do against it being
personally
superior.
Like getting the perspectives as far as like even Scream. I think it's fun getting into the differences and having that like kind fake debate, not actually getting serious. But no, I love all the Screams. The first one's my favorite, but I'm not gonna say, all the other ones are trash, or like you're trash,
or like you're a fake fan if you like this one over the other one. It just speaks
to your personality and what you like, and it's fun, kind of like seeing like, oh, I like this one because this, and this. Like, oh no, I like this because blah 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 blah. I think that's really fun.
I think the best franchises.
Like, you're safe, I promise.
Yeah, the best franchises are the ones where they have enough good in them where a bunch of people in the fandom could be like, this one's my favorite, or this one's my favorite. Like we did with the Jokers. Like that was all over the place.
I know I just said that, right? And I do believe in that. But there are 2 movies that if you don't like, I do question your fandom. That is The Batman and that is Revenge of the Sith. If you don't like those 2 movies, I question your fandom. I do.
We the same, Juwaan. We get it.
Yeah.
You get me.
I have to. I'm sorry.
Because I'd be like, no, you're wrong. Listen, I'm all about being respectful and what your favorite, but like, if you don't like those 2, I'll be like, you're wrong. I'm sorry.
Now look, let me be clear. If you feel as though The Dark Knight is better, I'm not here to argue that. But it's when you say things like, oh, I just didn't think the Batman was good. That's when it's like, well, you're not a Batman fan. No, I am. No, you're not. It's okay. It's okay though.
You're a Christian Bale Batman fan.
Right. No, you're a
There's a
Christian Bale
difference.
fan. Yeah, you're a Christian Bale fan.
I do have a question for you guys.
Go ahead, Jayla.
I do want to know. So how do I word this correct? I probably should have figured that out before I asked. But when do you think reboots are happening too much, or when do you think it's time to give a character a break? Character specific, because characters you can transform between reboot to reboot, and we've kind of talked about property as a whole. But like, let's say your Draculas, your Batmans, your Spider-Mans,
I got the perfect answer for you. When the movies start to not be good, because if you think
you want to keep going.
Because I keep trying to remind people, because people keep telling me every day they have Batman fatigue, right? And I think what people forget is, before Bale, there wasn't a Batman movie since the 90s. The 90s, right? A live-action Batman, there wasn't one since the 90s. So when people are like, oh my God, it's a Batman movie every year.
Yeah, no, the way people talk about it, it's like every year. Like, it's no.
even Spider-Man has been represented in each major decade, right? Your first decade was Tobey, your middle decade was Andrew, and then your most recent decade was Tom Holland. So I'm like, bro, we don't have these movies as often as you think. The problem is Spider-Man and Batman live outside of live action. So the comics are every day, the cartoons are every day, the action figures are every day, the pop figures are every day.
The video game.
That's the video game. So that I can understand. But when you say I'm tired of seeing a Batman movie, what else? Like, what else can you do? It's like, bro, there's not.
Well, people say that about Star Wars too. It's not like it's just a specific character, but like I've seen people complain. It was like when they had the timeline of like doing a Star Wars movie every year, right, or something, or like a show or something, and people are like, "Oh, I'm sick of Star Wars. Like that's gonna be a disaster." And I'd be like, "Well, they're gonna still make money anyway." Like,
they did give us our Star Wars break when it came to the movies.
Well, it's the same thing with the MCU too, though. Like when it took a break, everyone was like, "Wow."
I mean, that was because of COVID. They didn't really take a break.
Yeah.
It was a momentary pause, but Batman and Star Wars have had massive breaks in between.
Yeah.
It's only recently that you're getting it back to back to back.
Well, like I said, I think people like don't see it that way because like it's somehow, if they're not doing movies, they're doing something else with it, and that's why they feel like fatigued.
And it isn't until extremely recently where we have gotten those movies back to back. Like think back to when the MCU first started, we would get an MCU movie like once a year. Now it's 4 movies a year, which is insane.
Well, like with Batman, like before the Batman came out, it was 10 years since the last Batman solo movie. Like, and like I know we had a Batman with Ben Affleck, but like he never got his own movie, so
right.
Yeah.
But to answer your question for me, Jayla, then I'm gonna get to you guys in the fan comments. Joe, Sith Morrison, I'm gonna read you guys' comments. Give me 1 second. So my personal answer, and you guys can say how you feel, but my personal answer is it's just when it's bad. Because if you watch Andrew's Spider-Man, Tobey Spider-Man, and Tom Spider-Man, they're all drastically different from each other, right? It's when you watch Tom's, Tobey's, and Andrew's, and you're like, God damn, you all use the same villains, you all use the same concept, you all use the same structure, that it's like, all right, take a break. It's becoming formulaic. Stop it. Enough, right? Or if they're just terrible. Like, that last Star Wars trilogy is so massively divided. The best thing to do is just to stop making Star Wars movies so you can get the shit right? So it's like things like that is when I feel as though you take a break. But to me, if you have a Batman movie every 5 years, if it's different between Keaton's and Robert Pattinson's, why would you stop just because it's 2 different Batman?
How many James Bonds have we had?
So many. I think my grandfather was 10.
Or Superman too.
Yeah, so it's like, to me, I kind of just feel like if we were to follow what a lot of people want, where it's like, oh my God, just stop making it. We wouldn't have had Rob. We wouldn't have had Tom. We wouldn't have had Daniel Craig. We wouldn't have had so many iconic performances from actors if we just stopped because people are tired of seeing Batman, right? So to me, it's like, no, don't do that. Because if we're being honest, and you're telling me that in the history of Batman, the last Batman movie I would have had is Batman and Robin or Batman Forever, I would tell you I'm fist fighting. No way. I'd rather Dark Knight Rises.
Let me put it this way. Every day I'm grateful I have the Batman now because the Dark Knight Rises is no longer the latest Batman movie. And I can sleep peacefully at night again.
Right? Yes.
And you don't.
I can literally sleep peacefully at night again.
Could you picture if The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was the last Spider-Man we've had to date? Think about that. That was the last Spider-Man movie we had to date.
Now, the movie was not.
I think.
I
No.
enjoyed it.
Wait on, time out. Let me be specific. This is not to down that.
Dark Knight Rises was horrible.
Okay, but hear me out.
Nobody's disagreeing.
I'm not downing Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man 2. But think about the last 3 movies Tom Holland has made, right?
Oh yeah.
And then think about that movie. And then think about the fact you're getting rid of those Tom Holland movies.
I'm grateful.
I mean, Mysterio alone.
I'm sorry, nothing against Andrew Garfield, but I'm gonna say again, I'm grateful for Tom every day.
You guys know how, oh gosh, I love Mysterio. Having him alone made it worth it for me.
100%.
Yeah.
And look, I never would have thought there is any conceivable way you make Vulture cool, right? And then they were like, "Oh, we casted Michael Keaton." I'm like, "Well, shit, that's a great way." And then they showed the suit. And I was like, oh shit, yeah, they're doubling down on how cool.
Oh man,
We forget that it was a reboot. We forget that this recent Spider-Man trilogy was a reboot.
Yep.
And Vulture, I just want to say, man, what a way to kick it off too. What a way to make it feel different, and the villain interactions feel significantly different than like the dinner scene in Spider-Man 1 and Raimi's Spider-Man 1.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of have those examples there to see how you can have the same core idea of a scene with the same core kind of characters or relationships and have completely different takes and completely different feels. So yeah.
So to me, there should never be a fatigue really of anything. Now, where I did think the first time ever in my life that the fatigue was growing heavy was when Twilight was out, and then every studio said, put out a vampire movie. Put out a fucking
That's
vampire
different,
movie.
though.
I don't care what it is. No, because I kind of feel like there was a 5-year gap. Not gap, but there was a 5-year.
Same came for zombies.
Yeah, we had vampires and we had zombies and we had the paranormal.
I mean, if you go there, then
I think it's more
trying to make
eras.
a superhero thing. I mean, right now,
Difference
every
is,
streamer is
again,
trying to do a superhero thing.
Difference
So
is,
you
and
kinda-
this is just
that's
my
not-
opinion. I'm not saying this as a broad
No.
thing, Trevon, but just my opinion. When they were giving me all those vampire movies, I felt as though they weren't good. Like none of them were anything I could like remember. Like shit, I could rewatch that like today because that was so good. Outside of Dracula Untold, I thought all those vampire movies were very passable, right? And then you get to zombies. There were a lot of good zombie movies that came out in that span. I'll give it that. We got Zombieland that came out of that. So you know what I'm saying? I got to hold.
How
that.
about the cult classic Warm Bodies?
oh,
I enjoyed Warm Bodies a lot. I know it gets a lot of hate. I enjoyed it.
I love that movie. I love that movie.
I was surprised by that movie.
I did enjoy that movie.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So I mean, that's just how I look at it, Trevon. But let's get to some of these fans comments. All right, let's see. I want to go all the way back. Spiral sucked big time for me. I love the original 3. You know what, Sith Morrison? I got to be honest with you. I can go 4 deep with Saw. 3, I enjoyed 4 a lot. It's 5 and on that I'm like, you know what?
Should have stopped. You should have stopped.
Yeah.
The ending to 6 was great, though. Like, I can't get over how that movie ended.
I don't remember.
Hoffman was
I don't
like
know if
in
I've seen it. I might not
the
even
reverse
saw it.
bear trap, and he got his head stuck in the window, so it opened, and it didn't kill him. It just
I
ripped
think
its mouth open.
Saw is
Yeah,
a good until recently. Saw is a good example of what happens when we don't allow reboots to happen.
Yeah, and then Spiral happened, and I was like, done with Saw. Cool.
I'm good.
Spiral. Final Destination's getting a reboot, right? Go ahead.
Yes,
sorry.
it is. And Final
Yeah.
Destination, like when the chick died in the
Yeah.
tanning bed, I said you should probably stop. You're running out. You should not do anymore. Wait, I only thought there were only 2 movies. Yeah, I'm sure you did, Lil Wolfie. There's more than 3.
Oh no.
Smith Morrison said Friday the 13th, 2009 is goated.
It is.
Yep.
Lil Wolfie had no idea what Point Break was.
Go watch the
Go
original
watch it.
Point Break.
Go
It's gonna
With
watch
change
it.
your
Patrick
life.
Swayze,
Right
with my
now.
king Patrick Swayze.
With
That's the
Keanu
one you
Reeves,
watch.
too. Keanu Reeves.
Let's
is in
see.
it.
Shout out
Yes,
to-
yes, I know, but it's a Patrick Swayze movie. Come on.
Shout out to Joe from Just Your Average Joe. He says he's going TMNT, RoboCop, Point
Yeah.
Break, and Total Recall, to name a few.
Yeah.
Sith Morrison says the RoboCop remake is so bad, not even close to being as good as. Now, I'm gonna say this. Look, I don't care what anyone says. I love the new RoboCop. I'm not comparing it to the other
It was
RoboCop.
fun.
I just loved it for what it was, and I will defend Colin Farrell in Total Recall to the death of me. Are you freaking serious?
I don't
movie-
remember
I
it,
love
but that was good. I remember that.
I love that movie deeply. So I will defend that to the end of the earth. Again, it is not me saying one is better than the other or comparing. For what it was, I enjoyed it. Let's see. I'd rather watch RoboCop 3. Damn. That's saying a lot. No way Scream 5 is the best. Come on, Juwaan. I love Scream 5. Again, I will take that to my grave. That's what I want on my tombstone. Juwaan, that take is hurting my soul. I respect it though. Well, you know, as long as there's respect and love, that's all I ask for. And I saw people are also tired of Titans. Like how?
Titans fans are lucky to have the show they have, given how much.
I don't know. Well, I'll say this: Titan fans are mainly lucky because Titans was almost a TNT show.
Yes, I actually remember.
To be a TNT show.
Well, they play like replays on TNT a lot. They did it with season 1, but like
TNT at the time, what they were going to do is they were going to loosely connect it to the CW. It would be a TNT show. And then
again, every day I think
died if that happened.
I thank the universe every single day for making Titans on CW. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say it. I thank the universe every single day for not making Titans on CW because I would literally like throw myself into oncoming traffic. Like literally, it would be that bad for me. It'd be that bad. Like
we will one day.
I was scared until they announced it was on DC Universe. I was so scared where it was gonna be. I was like, please don't put it on CW. I was like, do not do that to my Titans.
They did appear on the CW.
Yes, they
stop.
Did.
I know. Stop.
They're on the CW.
Stop.
They are. We will have a CW conversation one day.
As far as I'm concerned, that didn't happen.
That's going to be a brutal stream when we get there.
Titans is.
Listen, like I've seen like some people be like, "Oh, this is CW stuff." Well, I was like, "No, it's better than CW." It was like sometimes the writing might be questionable, but it's better than CW. I will die on that hill.
Trevon, I'm with you because I'm like, all right, if the CW is not being respected, Titans is not far superior than CW.
No, it is.
I have a question for Sabrina.
Here's the funny thing. I don't even think
what? Wait, what, Jayla?
Stargirl.
I'm sorry, I have a question for Sabrina specifically when it comes to reboots and remakes. Teen Titans Go, because I was thinking about animated series. They get a lot of reboots. You get remakes to Teen Titans. You got Powerpuff Girls. You got Proud Family. So what are your take on that?
Okay, so all right. I think over the years, so when Teen Titans, the cartoon came out, I thought it was like the best thing ever, and then I started really reading comics, and I was like, yeah, this is nothing like their comic counterparts, like at all. And like I think a lot of people forget that because of like it coming out when we were kids. I'm not saying like it's completely like not like it, but for the most part, it's like not. For like mostly like how Starfire is and stuff like that. Like she's not as airheaded as she is in the as they made her in the show. Which then now that going back and watching it, it bothers me because I know that she's not like that. It's like little stuff like that, and like I remember when that got canceled, I was like like heartbroken and everything. But then when they like rebooted that, I was like, you know what? A lot of people are mad about it. I'm like, I know it's for kids, so it's like it's whatever. But it's like it's funny. So it doesn't really bother me like the way it should, but I don't know. I think it's because I don't take it seriously. Because it's like, it's clearly aimed at kids, but like they make like a lot of like dark references to like stuff. Like, I remember they're like this, my favorite like moment in that show is like, there's a screenshot of like Jason's ashes and it's like, says Robin 2. And I was like, bro, I was like, this is a kid's show, stop. But like, that's what I mean. Like, I have fun with it. It doesn't bother me. I don't know, like, I love both shows, so it's, like, I mean, like, I don't watch it regularly, because, like, it's, like, whatever, but, I think it's fun. I liked the movie, I like the show, I like both shows, so it's, like, that, what?
There were 2 movies.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Teen Titans Go.
Yeah, no, I know, the one versus each other, yeah. I know, because somebody actually asked me about that the other day, yesterday, about, like, before Teen Titans, like, Go continued, that, like, when they kind of teased the post-credit scene of, like, season 4 for, like, the original show, I was like, that's probably not gonna happen. Because, like, once they released the movie for that show, I was like, I don't think they're gonna bring it back.
That was not a good movie, by the way.
I liked it. I'm sorry. I liked it. I actually did like it.
That was an awful tease that they did. They didn't give it to me. I was really bad.
You know what?
Are you talking about the post-credit scene?
Yeah, some stomach.
Yeah. It was like it was pointless because nothing came about it. Like I remember being so happy, and then like when nothing happened, I was like, what was the point?
I have 2 really hot takes for Titans. One, that was not a good movie, like even remotely good at all.
I didn't say it was good. I just said I liked it.
Oh, well, that's fair. I can respect that. But my biggest hot take is they missed. How did you not, when you created X, how did you not make him Jason the second time? I'll never understand that.
Okay, actually, it's funny you bring that up. So there was like a short that they did about Red X, and they're like trying to guess his identity after Robin stopped being Red X, and I think it was like Beast Boy. Like after they couldn't figure out who it was, he's like, "Oh, I still think you're Jason Todd," and I think it was like supposed to be a nod to that, but they never kind of went anywhere with that. And then they brought him back for Future State Gotham.
Mm-hmm.
No. Yeah, Future State Gotham and Future State Teen Titans, and then he's in Teen Titans Academy now. So like a bunch of people since then, they brought him into comics, and now everyone else keeps taking a random mantle of him. So I'm like, I kind of I loved Red X and I loved the concept, but now I'm like, it's so rare, it's so many random people taking up that mantle. I'm like, I don't really care anymore.
Yeah, it should have.
So
been
it's like.
It
kind of ruined that whole it being like a mysterious thing because now it's like somebody like there's been like 4 or 5 and I'm like I don't really care anymore.
Yeah, now it doesn't mean the same anymore. But
exactly.
I want to welcome in Joe from Just Your Average Joe. What's going on, Joe?
Hi.
What's up, guys?
Joe.
How are you?
Good.
I'm good. If I sound out of it, it's only because I've been sick the last few days. So
I
sorry,
appreciate you
It was
joining in, man.
soon.
You were in the comment section and you hopped on. I'm glad you hopped on, man.
yeah, because this is a good topic. This is I actually like it. I like the conversation that you guys have.
I'm telling you, when you tell Jayla to come up with topics, Jayla be dropping the heat.
No, this is a good
Jayla
one.
be dropping the heat rock. So I mean, look, just to read the last few ones before I pass it on. The Walking Dead. Oh, Joe, you said The Walking Dead has like 91 spinoffs. That's true. It has so many spinoffs. It just diluted the entire franchise as a whole for me. I'm just like, you know what? Take zombies and go. Just
They're
go.
good
Walking Dead
though if
killed
you
zombies.
watch them.
I did watch Fear the Walking Dead, and then I stopped with the newest.
I could not get into it.
Repetitive.
I could not get into
enjoyed
it.
It
first
finds
2
its
seasons.
footing in like 3, like at the end of
I would
2.
agree.
Is it
I would
finds
agree.
its-
Yeah, I watched like the first 2 episodes. I was like, nope. I was like, I really don't care. I was like,
You
I just
gotta
don't
give it more
care.
time.
How can you? Because I've been so invested in these other characters for how many years, and then they give us another show where I was just like, I'm sorry, I don't care about anybody.
I mean,
Well, that was before I stopped caring about The Walking Dead, so now I'm like, I don't care about any of it anymore.
Can
I
I say
still
this?
watch it. I still watch it.
Can I say this? I look at what you're saying about The Walking Dead like this. Picture watching Friends for all the seasons, right? And you're just like, bro, this is like goated. They are the greatest thing ever. And then they go, hey, we want to do a spinoff, right? Where it's the people behind them, like the people that were in the background. We want to do a series about them. And it's like, I'm sorry. You know, I'm only here for like Ross, Chandler, Joey.
Ooh.
Like,
They
like
shot themselves
I don't
in
want
the
to watch
foot.
anyone else. Like,
Well, that's
what
like
are you
that's the
doing?
same thing for like we were saying before with them bringing like OG cast members from like a show or a movie because like that gets like the those fans be like, okay, if they're in it then I'll watch it, but if it's like
Right. That's the only
Yeah.
reason why they do.
because like that's how
I
it
don't
is
even
on like one
think-
of the things on my list. That's exactly why I watched it because like if it didn't include them, I was like, I don't really care about the show, and I was like really mad. What?
I mean, look, sometimes when you do reboots or not reboots, like soft reboots or continuations, it's not the greatest. I will die on this hill. What makes you think that because I love Rugrats, I gave any fucks about Rugrats growing up? The whole premise was that they were babies. I didn't give a shit when they grew up. It's like watching
Look.
Stranger Things today. I only like the premise of kids having to get out of adult
All Grown
situations.
Up
Now
was
they're
All
adults.
Grown Up was good. You're
Hey,
wrong.
hey, don't no slander on All Grown Up. Come on.
Hey.
Love All Grown Up in this.
Tommy.
No, we're not doing that. No.
I
Tommy
like
had
it when
a-
they turn the Looney Tunes into babies. Why can I like it the other way?
That show was good too.
I didn't.
Thank
like
Yeah,
that either.
that was good.
I didn't like that either. But
I
bro,
really
Tommy
liked it.
Tommy had a neck tattoo. He was having sex out here. It was crazy. I didn't.
What? They were in like high school.
Yeah, man. The Rugrats all
Oh
grown
my
up was
God.
wild. They were wild, bro. I didn't have any.
They weren't that wild.
I'll be right back. I just gotta grab my
They
charger.
were wild. No problem, Sabrina.
Okay.
They were super wild, Trevon. He had a neck tattoo.
I didn't watch the
You know what I'm
Spring
saying?
Breakers version of All Grown Up. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Chucky only listened to rap music. It was crazy, man. Yeah, I couldn't keep up with that series. But Joe, what are your thoughts on reboots, remakes, and like what are some of the ones that you enjoy or some of the ones that you didn't enjoy that go to why they should chill out on making them?
I think it's really obviously it's subjective, right? But I think when it comes down to honestly, sometimes even with me, and I'm older, but I've come to find out if I've seen a remake before I've seen the original, I tend to like the remake better anyway. I'll best example and the most recent example is I Spit on Your Grave. I know that movie came out like 12 years ago. I seen the remake before I watched the original. So I watched the remake, loved it. I watched the original, I couldn't get through it. I was like, oh my God, this is horrible because it's low budget. It's just, again, when watching, like, you can even say the thing with the same thing about The Thing. Now, I did watch The Thing, the original, but I can see that if you would have seen the remake first, you would tend to lean towards that one, you know? But then you got movies like Friday the 13th, right? That I grew up watching. I cannot go back and watch those. 2009's a remake. I can watch that. I actually like that a lot. And that's saying a lot for somebody who grew up watching the originals in the 80s.
Right. Yeah. And look, LeBron James and his movie production company are working on another Friday the 13th. There was a lot of legalities that they had to get through in order to do it.
Those legalities hurt a lot of avenues, man.
It hurt the video game.
It did. I'm still bitter. Still bitter.
Sure did. So they're still in the process of trying to get that to happen. But I'm with you because look, in Jayla, you'll agree with this. If you've never seen Evil Dead and the new one was your first one, that's not a bad one to jump into. I'm not saying it has to be your favorite or it's the best one, but it's not a bad one to jump right into.
It's a great one.
It's a great really introduction. It's an insanely great introduction.
I will say though, if you watch that one first and then watch the originals, you'll be confused, A, but B, its horror is different. Yeah. Right? So you'll watch it and you'll go, oh my God, this is a lot. And then you'll watch the originals and go, this seems a lot better. And it's like, yes, they kind of hiked it up a few notches for the newer one.
They turned it to the max. They're like, oh yeah, okay, sure. And they just like went as 100%. Far as they could, and I loved it. But
the remake was like, how much blood can we put in this movie exactly?
Oh, how much are we allowed? We got you.
Yeah, the studio was just like unlimited amount. Yeah, however much you want. Go ahead, do your thing. Were you gonna say, Joe?
Now, the other thing that I said a while ago, and I think you remember this, Juwaan, I said when remaking a movie or even a franchise, it's hard. I think franchises are harder. I think when movies like Indiana Jones, when I mentioned RoboCop earlier, right? There was 2 movies with Peter Weller. He only did 2. He didn't even do the third one. I'm not really emotionally invested in that movie. I just happen to like the original better than the remake. Same thing with Total Recall and Arnold Schwarzenegger versus, the one with which I didn't think was bad.
Colin Farrell. Don't forget his name.
No. I want
to. Put some respect on his name.
Yeah, come on, man.
Because I respect Colin Farrell as an actor. I just, again, watching the original first and growing up with that, whatever. But when it comes to other franchises and I've said that becomes synonymous with an actor itself, those are the ones that are hard. Those, to me, are the hardest to either reboot or remake. Blake, you had mentioned Back to the Future. I think that's a movie you just never touch. I'm sorry. And that's just because that's me growing up. I don't know if it'll ever happen. I'm sure it will because they do remake or reboot everything. But I don't know. I don't know what comes of that. Now, a continuation, I would have been okay with. But obviously, in Michael J. Fox's state, Christopher Lloyd is getting older. I know he's going to be Mandalorian season 3, but I just don't know how much of a continuation you can possibly have. I think that window's gone.
I don't know, man. Tom Holland brought this up. He was saying when they were doing the relationship between Stark and Peter, they were going for a Back to the Future kind of relationship.
I know.
And I immediately said, fuck, Robert Downey Jr. and Tom Holland would be really entertaining to see.
That is the popular fan cast for like a modern day.
Yeah, a balls to the wall. I mean, hell, Robert Downey Jr. and Tom Holland could be Rick and Morty. So I'm like, a balls to the wall Back to the Future. I
love Tom Holland, but like, I don't know about that.
I'm just saying, if you think Tom Holland can't be Morty, you got Tom Holland messed up. I'll give you maybe RDJ can't be Rick. But Tom Holland, 100%.
So just get Tom Holland and Willem Dafoe back together for Rick.
That's what you do. That's what you do. But again,
I
could see Willem Dafoe as Rick. I could see mostly.
You know what? I'll say this: Willem Dafoe 15 years ago and Michael Cera 10 years ago. That's your Rick and Morty.
Didn't they like do that promo thing? I guess it was like a commercial, but like they casted
Christopher Lloyd and
the kid from It.
Yes, the kid from It.
Yes,
yeah. Yes, he has. Yes. Okay. So he seems like every role he takes, he's super nervous. Like he's.
But he was really good, honestly. In that little clip, that was perfect.
Yeah, I think he would be perfect. Yeah.
Do you guys? I'm
Go ahead,
sorry.
Jayla. No, go ahead.
What do you feel about? What do you think about like live action reboots or live action remakes? You know, we had that with Beauty and the Beast. We had that with Lion King.
Scooby Doo stuff
yeah,
like that.
Oh yeah.
The 2000 Scooby Doo one will forever be one of my favorites because
100%.
fantastic.
100%. I make. Here's the funny thing. I only love those Scooby Doo movies because I'm 1,000% sure Matthew got high every day to be there. And knowing
I love
that,
him so much.
Knowing that is what brings my heart so much joy. But
I love Matthew Lillard in those movies so much.
Man, he's so perfect.
it depends because to me, I kind of feel like what you do with it is how it just varies from each project. It's not a whole opinion I have.
Are you asking
like the
Disney
Jungle,
specifically?
or you just mean anything from cartoon to live action?
I mean,
the live that just like the trend that's because that's a different form of reboot. It's a different. It's
Look,
different.
like before this conversation, I actually did not like consider the live like animated stuff to live action like Disney. The way he's been doing has been like reboots. I just think it's like adapting in live action. Like I never saw it as like a reboot.
It's a reboot because last time I checked, Jasmine was not made royalty of that kingdom. Aladdin was when he married her. In the live action, she is the royalty now that her father stepped down, and Aladdin's just like essentially it's the equivalent of like Jasmine being the
wait, say that again, because like I'm confused.
In the live action movie, so in the animated movie, at the end of it, Aladdin became essentially the prince, or
yeah.
In the live action, it was the opposite. Jasmine is now the queen in Aladdin.
Oh yeah, that's true. I mean,
tag along. So they change it. That's why I give it the stance of reboot. But to answer your question, Jayla, the Jungle Book was so phenomenally done. I never have an interest in watching the animated movie ever. I just go back to the live action.
Have you seen the animated one?
Yeah, of course. That was the first.
I haven't seen the live action one yet. I just haven't.
Jon
Favreau one is great.
An amazing
the
job.
Andy
And getting
Serkis
Bill
one.
Murray to be what's his name? Baloo. Fucking beautiful. And to know that kid, that was that kid's first time acting. He had never acted in anything before. And I said that movie should have gotten an Oscar because not only did that kid never act before, but picture you never acted before. And your first role is acting with no one. There's no one in there. You're essentially in each scene acting alone. And what Jon Favreau said he used to have to do to get the kid to kind of cry in those emotional moments. I'm like, God damn, bro, that's crazy. So to me, like I look at Lion King and I'm like, I know a lot of people are gonna say just get over it, and I should. But Simba fighting Scar was important because it's what gave Simba his strength and his courage.
Oh, they didn't do that in the live action one?
No, in the live action one they did it, but Nala helped him fight. So in the animated movie, he fought off literally the hyenas. Yeah. Obviously Rafiki helped him, but he fought
So basically in this one, in the live action one, that kind of made him like, I don't want to say weaker, but kind of.
No, in the live action, what they're doing is they're just giving the female characters more story. So they're giving them more things to do. But by nature, you're kind of knocking more so what the original character did. Not fully. I'm not saying it like Nala came in and stole the show. Okay. But there was a point in the Aladdin movie where Jasmine just had an original song and was just singing. And I'm like,
yeah.
It was Beyonce.
Now, Trevon, no arguments
That's
here.
Why.
I get why.
That's
I get
why.
why they did it.
That's why they did it.
Why they did it.
But
it was still like random because I was like, I don't remember the song, and I was like, oh yeah, it's the original song.
It's an original song, and I was just like, all right. So for me, I prefer them to keep doing it, Jayla, because they have a good track record so far.
See, like I know with like,
I hate.
Do they keep like the music and stuff like that? See, like those two, I think I just wasn't. Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
okay.
Aladdin had all the same songs.
Mulan took it out, and I was so mad. I was like, I don't want anything to do with this.
Well, to be fair to Mulan, that story is based off of a book.
Mm-hmm. No, I know. But forgive me for wanting to hear "I'll Make a Man Out of You" in live action. I'm sorry, I wanted to hear it.
no.
That's why. Okay, listen. So
the original story.
That's why I'm scared because they've been like rumoring it for years about like not even just a Hercules movie, but like Disney Hercules, and I'm so scared that I'm not gonna get that.
Oh,
That-
they better have them. They better have them.
If I don't get I Could Go the Distance in live action, we're gonna have a problem. We're gonna have a problem.
Here's the only reason I'm not concerned is because if you cast Chris Pratt, which was originally rumored when they
For Hercules?
Yes, when they were
No,
hyping
please no. Please
I
no.
need Chris Pratt. I need Chris Pratt.
No. Anybody but him.
Wait.
Juwaan, anybody but him. I literally no.
I need Chris
No.
Pratt.
One is banned from-
No, he would not be good as Hercules.
I need Chris Pratt.
No, stop. I'm gonna
Chris Pratt.
Juwaan.
Tomato.
Whatever. you say, I need Chris Pratt.
Get no, do not even associate Chris Pratt with my boy Hercules. No. That's a fact. No, I'm gatekeeping him from everybody. If you're gonna fan cast him, I'm gatekeeping him from you.
I respect you so much.
And that hurt me deeply. Please don't ever say that to me ever again.
I don't respect that.
You got two options. You
But I
either got
don't
Chris
like
Pratt
this
or you don't make it a
fan
movie.
cast. I'm sorry.
Then don't make it a movie. I don't want it to. I don't want it to.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine.
No,
with
because
that.
I'm literally scared that they're gonna ruin it.
Come on. He looks just like Hercules.
I mean-
He
What do
looks
you mean? Why
nothing
not?
like Hercules.
Yes, he does.
He does not look like
Have you
Hercules.
Just
ever
like
seen
him.
Hercules?
Yes, looks just like him. Chris Pratt's perfect. Chris Pratt.
Okay, wait. This has to be a prank. This has to be a forced Ashton Kutcher. Because, like, what?
All right, look, Chris Pratt.
You're kidding. You're literally kidding, right?
Okay,
Please tell me you're
fine.
you're screwing around with me. Because
They're
what?
not doing that. They're not doing that. No, he's
Either Chris Pratt
no.
or Val Kilmer. Which one? You pick. Either Chris
Okay,
Pratt.
you're messing with us.
All right, now you're messing with me. All right, now you're messing with me.
You gotta pick.
He's
Choose one.
Iceman.
That's all
You
I'm saying.
can't.
I'll take
He's too busy
Liam
being
over
Iceman.
Chris Pratt.
You take Liam Neeson? That's perfect.
No,
Yeah, Liam
Stop
Neeson.
Hemsworth.
Yes,
Hemsworth.
Liam Neeson.
Not
Yes.
No.
Let's
You want a
go,
home with
Liam
Hercules?
Neeson.
I mean, if you're gonna
Liam
pick a
Neeson.
Chris, I'd go Hemsworth too. But okay, so if it's not Chris Pratt, I have no idea. I don't even have a thought in my
Chris
head.
Pratt is the awful.
What do
choice.
we go? So Sabrina, who do you want then?
Okay, so
Who's your fan cast?
I actually don't have fan cast because I never wanted it in live action.
Anyone but Chris Pratt.
What?
Okay, so like I've seen. Okay, so when I'm talking about Hercules, I'm not talking about like the other movies they've done, like mythology
What about the
Hercules. I'm talking
cartoon?
about Disney Hercules.
Yeah.
To me, let me tell you.
I had one for the longest time. I forget his name.
Let me tell you why I'm
No,
fine
he's
with
good.
it.
I like him.
Matthew Broderick, I love him, right? And then you go what he did with Simba, right? You're like, he did a great job with Simba. And then you go, well, you can't really top that. Then they're like, oh, Donald Glover. And you're like, well, shit. Well, I mean, well,
Yeah.
there you go, right? And then you
Zac
think Whoopi
Efron.
Goldberg. Zac Efron is Hercules? I guess because he has a singing background.
Ayo. Okay, wait.
That's not a terrible idea.
I can see the vision.
It can work. It can work.
Okay, and he has a voice because like Tay Donovan did his, singing voice in the original movie, but like
Oh, he was in High School Musical?
no,
I
I'm
just
talking
saw
about Hercules'
something.
voice.
Zac
I just saw
Efron was in
breaking
High School
news,
Musical?
guys.
Yes.
Jared Leto
What?
is actually going to be Hercules.
Yes, perfect. That's what I'm talking about.
As far
Oh,
as
Let's do it.
fan
I want to leave this call now. I don't feel safe here.
I will say though, I do want. This is all jokes aside. I do want Samuel L. Jackson as Hades. That's what I want.
I agree with
I
that.
want that desperately.
Ooh.
I want that desperately.
Fine.
Only because time
That's
out.
fine.
I only want it because I want Hades to say motherfucker. That's all. That's the only reason.
Honestly, I could. I think I would lose my mind. It probably would never happen if someone else would get cast before him. But like, if it was James Woods, I think I would lose my mind.
I would love it if it was James Woods.
No, I'm
We
saying like
obviously
I feel
know.
like it's going to be more of like a modern day actor than like going
Oh,
with
it
the original
100%
voice. But if it was
100%.
James Wood, I would cry. I would literally cry. Same thing with
there's
Danny
only-
DeVito. Like he has to be Phil. Like he has to be Phil.
There's only one voice actor in Disney history that is. Well, I won't say one, but there's only one massive one that's iconic to the character that you can never change. That's obviously Mufasa, James Earl Jones.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah.
I'm not
No way
gonna
you can
fight
change
you.
See, like
on
with
that.
so with Hades, I know it's just like a mythology character, but like I can't picture anyone else doing his voice except for James Woods.
Now, I always say this. You say that till we get it, and then it's like, what?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's his voice,
Okay,
man. It's his
okay.
voice. I don't know. It's just.
Look,
I'm just
I'm-
saying, Sabrina, if someone told you during Twilight 2 that Robert Pattinson was your new
I'm
Batman,
getting
Or
tired of
okay,
Twilight
if it's not
Zone
James
in
Woods,
this-
if it's
in
not
this
James Woods,
podcast.
you know who would be really good as
Everyone
Hades?
needs to chill.
Hear me out. William Dafoe.
As
I could see it. As Hades, I could see it. I could definitely see
It's
it.
not bad either.
I do believe
Dafoe's
Willem
just a good
Dafoe
actor.
would. I do believe Willem Dafoe would appreciate us to stop giving him roles of psychopaths, but yeah, it would be
He wants
perfect.
to play the Joker. I don't think he's got a problem with it.
But to
Oh
be
my god,
fair-
no.
to be
I just
fair,
found my
he did-
perfect Hercules actor. Nope, I just found it. I'm good.
Kind of roles, though.
If it's not him, I'll be upset.
He did open Saturday Night Live with saying, like, sometimes he does get offended that people are like, you know who you'd be great as? The Joker. Like a psychopath.
You would stop.
Like, you'd be
Stop.
perfect. So
But
he
he's
did
really
say,
a
like,
nice guy too. So he's probably
That's
like,
what I'm
"Guys, I don't-
saying.
What did
Well, Blake hates that fan cast so much.
It's so he's Goblin. It's just a different version of Goblin.
He's
Yeah.
my forever goblin. Always,
it
always.
depends
and
how
forever.
you use
His laugh would just be the Green Goblin laugh. He's too similar.
That's true.
Definitely
Okay.
true.
And now if they just want to bring him back as Goblin again, I mean, I want to complain.
Especially now that you had him like 20, like almost, what is it? Yeah, 20 years, right?
20
Yeah,
years
20
later.
years
20
removed.
years.
Pretty much,
I don't
almost.
know. I don't know.
19
I watched Birdman, and that never felt like Batman.
It's 20. You're right.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, you're right. It's 20.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Wait, really quickly before you go, Sabrina.
No, I don't actually have to go. I don't actually have to go. I just was like, I can't take it. No, I'm just kidding.
No. I meant before you go, give us your.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was
I
like,
wasn't
no, I'm
kicking
actually
you off.
not leaving. Sorry.
I wasn't kicking you off. Lil Wolfie
Oh,
said,
man.
did you guys hear Chris Pratt is Mario? Yes, I did.
Oh,
Yes,
boy.
I did. Chris
That's
Pratt.
why, honestly, when you said Chris Pratt, I thought you were screwing around with me.
No, I was dead serious. I don't have a problem with Chris Pratt as Mario. You know, no one's
Look at
ever gonna
me,
sound like the
Mario.
Yeah, no one's ever gonna sound like him. So unless you were just bringing him back, it was always gonna be different. No
And
matter
that's
where
going to be
you
a
went.
reboot. That's going to be a remake.
I wish I didn't know
All
that
right.
he
No,
was
I
Mario.
only had beef
The
in the
Mario
beginning
Brothers.
of that whole scenario because I was worried about the action. Not beef. Hey, let me walk it out. I only was worried when it first started out because I know that there's an iconic person that's played Mario for the entire history of Mario,
Mhm.
and I was like, well, I kind of want that to be somewhere. And when I heard that he's going to be in it too, I was like, okay, yeah, no, I'm good. Let's see what Chris Pratt does. I mean, it's going to be better than the live action one. I mean, it's not like it's not like
Oh,
we
you
have an
mean in the
iconic
Plumbers?
Mario movie.
Yeah, there's
Yeah, you
no
mean like the
way.
Plumbers?
There's nothing that
Ruined
can be
for
worse
us.
than that. Yeah.
Mario,
Seth
Mario.
Rogen's
And
in
remember,
it. Jack
Time
Black's
out.
in it. Give me the movie.
remember,
Good.
it's not
Mhm.
live action. It's not live action.
Yeah,
it's
I know.
animated.
I was
Oh,
saying.
it's animated? Okay.
Can I ask this though? Because I apparently missed something. Did Chris Pratt murder someone?
No,
or
no, you're
something? Why do
fine.
we hate Chris Pratt? Like,
I don't hate him.
where's the
I'm
Chris?
not
Pratt?
gonna. I'm not gonna get
I
into
don't
it right
hate
here.
him.
I'm not gonna get into it.
Not
Look,
here, but I
For
have.
me,
Hey,
I
People have
alright,
opinions.
then.
I got some stuff that I found out about. I'm like, yeah, no. Mm-mm.
I have a
No,
reason.
for me personally, as an
Alright.
actor, I just wouldn't want him as Hercules because I just feel like
That's
Stay away
fair.
from my boy. Stay away from him.
it would just be
Fair.
another take on Star-Lord, just Greek god, and
Oh, yeah, that's true too.
I feel like if that's what we did with Chris Pratt, that's the kind of
The
writing
same
we would get
attitude,
for
yeah, the
Hercules.
same.
No, I just,
In my
yeah, I
mind,
just,
that's where it went.
I don't understand.
to answer your question, I did find a perfect fan cast for him. Now I'm like, I can see the vision. He's not a well-known actor, but I've seen him, and I'm like, yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. His name's
Yeah.
Daniel Sharman. I don't know what he's from, but like, the face, I see it. Like, I cannot unsee it now. Like, I need him. I'll send you the thing later, but like, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Oh,
he'd
I
be
know,
perfect.
I know him from Teen Wolf. Yeah.
That's where he's from, Teen Wolf.
Yeah,
Yes,
mhm.
he'd be perfect as Hercules. He has that like.
What were
I
you
can't
saying, Jayla? What's
About-
the comparison? What's the comparison you're making?
Comparison of
Star-Lord and
Oh, Star-Lord and
Oh,
Hercules. No, she's right. She's
I
right.
didn't want look. I didn't want to just feel like it's, and I'm not saying this is what would happen. It would be my major concern and why I hope they like consider bringing someone else in. My major concern would be it just feeling like a very similar retread of Star-Lord, which no complaints exactly. But if we're getting another Hercules, I do want to want them to have some fun with it and have some wiggle room with it and see what they do with the environment and the setting, which is why I wouldn't want Chris Pratt as my first choice.
Well, like also with this one, it's like it's not like they're doing the mythology version of Hercules, like they're doing like the Disney version, so it's like completely different.
I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean,
I'm still
you
not
know,
understanding the comparison. I'm lost.
No, I
I'm
like.
saying, like if they
Lost.
remade, if they're doing a reboot of Hercules, right? And we got Chris Pratt as Hercules. My main concern would be it felt like, you know, the flavor of Star-Lord, but with Hercules.
No, you're absolutely
Hold
right.
on, time out. Hold on. Did we not just get No Way Home and Uncharted in the same span, and that didn't feel the same?
You're not getting what I'm saying.
Chris
here.
Pratt
I don't
doesn't
think
No,
I am.
it's-
That's what I'm trying to say.
Chris Pratt doesn't have that.
Okay,
range.
wait, hold on. Let me see if I can kind of like explain to Juwaan, because like I know what you're saying without like saying it. I'm trying to think like how to word it.
Chris Pratt doesn't have the range. Yeah.
Well, like
Like,
yeah,
yeah,
oh that too. But
I don't think he doesn't have range. It's just,
no, he doesn't have that range. I'm sorry.
I see, like, if
I'm
that's
sorry.
actually what
Hold
the
on,
studio
hold on,
executives do.
Hold
Does
on,
that make
time out.
sense?
We are not about to say Tom Holland had massive range from Spider-Man to Nathan Drake. What are we talking about right now?
No, he did. He also was in Devil all the time. He
But
literally went from Devil all the time to Spider-Man again. I don't want to hear it.
I just
No. I'm just talking about from Spider-Man to Nathan Drake. There was.
I don't know. I didn't see Uncharted, so I can't say anything.
Yeah,
yet.
I'm like whatever
He
he
was
brought to
different.
Peter
He
Parker
was
is what he
different.
brought to Uncharted. You just
was
don't like
different.
Chris Pratt, and I understand.
He
Trevon,
was
but don't
different.
tell me that man gave a drastic difference in performance between Uncharted and Spider-Man.
I
It's
never
the
said
same
I liked
thing.
Uncharted though.
He did.
That is fair. You did not say that, Jayla. But Trevon, all right, come on, knock it off. Come on now.
He did.
What? Come on, no. We are not about to
I
compare
never said I liked the cast of
Spider-Man,
Uncharted either.
Spider-Man, and Uncharted.
I mean, I wasn't comparing the two at all until you brought it up. So like that's why I'm kind of like, okay.
No, because I'm saying I don't
My
see how one
response
has
to that
to do with the other.
point, my response to that point really is I didn't like the casting for Uncharted either, for a lot of the same reasons.
Why? Oh, because it was the
The-
same thing?
No, because I feel like the casting of Uncharted didn't make me feel like I was watching Nathan Drake and Scully.
Well,
and
that's the thing, though. They're making.
I don't know. I just didn't like it.
But that's the thing, though. They're trying to cultivate Nathan Drake and Sully. So they're trying to make. They're creating them. They're making them. It's from the beginning. So they're not them yet. Is what I'm trying to say.
Well, disagree, but we'll see where it goes.
Well, it was an origin
I
story.
feel like if you're, I feel like.
Did you
I
watch
feel like
it?
They have an origin story to go off.
No,
of,
not
though.
you.
They have an origin story.
You're like,
to go
did you
off
watch it?
of.
Come on, Jayla.
They have
Did
a
Jayla watch
whole-
it?
Oh,
Say that.
They have a whole origin story, and
Mhm.
they could have like taken aspects from. But to me, it feels like they didn't really. It's a lot of things that we have with video game movies where it didn't take that much from the source material because they're scared of translating that to the screen. So they took the
Yeah.
big moments, gave
100%.
that for the fans, and then
oh yeah, I'm not a huge
left
gamer,
none
but
of
I can
the
tell that's
heart.
definitely the problem a lot when they like make video game movies.
There was none of the heart of why I like the video games.
Did okay with
there.
Sonic.
Sonic 2
Yeah.
was so good. I cried. Not gonna lie. The
But
ending, I cried.
That wasn't iconic.
Have you seen Sonic
anything
2?
you've ever played in the games.
Have you seen Sonic 2?
I have not
Absolutely.
I'm talking
But
about
Sonic
Sonic 2
1.
specifically. I'm talking about Sonic 2
Absolutely,
specifically.
I've
Okay,
seen
because
it.
I'm like Sonic
I
1 was
haven't,
not
but I
iconic to
watched
the
the whole
game at all.
breakdown. I actually
Sonic
watched
2.
spoiler thing.
Godly.
So
There are
Okay,
specific
let-
things about Sonic 2 I think you know that got me like emotional and
Ooh.
Let me
nostalgic,
ask you
and it
this.
hit the right.
I haven't seen it yet.
Let me ask you this.
Sure.
Does most of the movie take place in Sonic's world?
Well,
Do you want to
no.
answer that?
It takes place in.
No, don't tell
but
me.
it's
Don't tell
not-
me where
no.
it takes place.
No, I don't want the spoiler.
No, I'm gonna spoil it. Let me word this right. It's not about setting. It's
Mhm.
about feeling.
Okay, so for that, I would say Uncharted 100% was about feeling, not accuracy. I mean, Halo's doing the same
But it
thing.
didn't give me the same. But that's my point. It didn't give me the feeling of watching a Nathan Drake story.
Right, because just like Halo, they're not trying to bring us in.
And don't call
They're
it
trying to
Uncharted.
they're trying to bring in people that have never played that game.
Then just if you're going to, but the thing is, if you're going to do it for the game, right?
Mhm.
Make it for the both. That's possible. Do it.
It's- Hey, you're talking about somebody that watches the MCU and goes, "I read comic books," and you're not doing what I've
But
read.
the thing is about
And
that
they don't
too
balance
is-
at all.
The thing is about that too is we talked about this before. They still have the core feeling. They still understand.
Not really. I watched WandaVision and I was waiting for what I've read over 3 different comic books to come out of that show, and I never got it. I still
What comic specifically?
specifically House of M. There was no feel of House of M whatsoever.
Well, that's one.
No, I don't mean
It's
House
not
of M.
more
What do you
recent.
mean by feeling though? Because that's we're getting like it's a tangent. We're getting
Wait,
very
isn't House of
specific.
M though pretty recent?
House
Not
of M
recent
is
enough.
going to be showing
It's
up
not
more
recent.
so in Doctor Strange 2, I believe.
Mhm.
Then
But
we're
that's
gonna
my
see-
Yeah, but it came out like
That's
Let
my
me-
problem. You
me
took
look
the
that up.
core aspect of
House
that.
of M was like 15 years ago.
Yes, it was definitely a while ago. But what I'm saying is the core concept of what
I was thinking of Child Magneto, sorry. That's what I was
Right.
thinking of. I was like,
The-
wait, isn't that just
the
come out?
The core concept of WandaVision was it was Wanda manipulating her children. I mean, manipulating the world and then manifesting her children, right? That was that legit comic where Mephisto created her kids from shards of her,
Mhm.
and the whole point was to drain Wanda of her power.
Mhm.
They legit did that, but replaced Mephisto with Agatha Harkness, who was nothing more
Let
than
me
an
ask
errand
you
boy.
this. Let me ask you this. Did you read any comic named WandaVision?
No.
Was there anywhere that says this is a story adapted from directly from
Yes.
House of M?
Yes.
Where
When
they
you
say
put
it?
Agatha Harkness in there.
No. Did they
Yes,
ever
as
say
soon as you
that
put
this
Agatha
is a
Harkness in
story
there.
that's adapted from House of M?
Yes.
Period. Full stop.
Yes, full stop.
Or-
As soon as you casted Agatha Harkness, that
No,
was
they did
that
not.
Was the
So you
inclination.
have to understand when you're
100%.
going into this. You have to understand that
It
this
did a
isn't-
video of
This
I'm
isn't
sorry?
what they're doing
How is that not the same thing with Uncharted?
because it's called Uncharted.
What? That's just one. That's one game out of like a million different games. they
And
could
what did they
from.
take from any of the games?
Him flying out of that plane.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Was that
That's
not
great.
accurate
Thank
from
you
something?
so much,
Was that
Uncharted
not?
producers.
That's all I'm saying. And when he got screwed
At least
over by
Agatha
what's-her-name?
Harkness is the villain. Who is the villain in Uncharted?
Agatha Harkness was never a villain. That's the point I keep trying
Sorry,
to make to you.
Umbrella Academy. But I'm saying
Agatha Harkness was never a villain.
at least they took someone that is related and they adapted it for what's going on now. Who was the villain in Uncharted?
All I'm saying is Agatha Harkness only existed twice in the comics.
Okay,
Once
so
as the
Arthur
babysitter
and
for
Moon
Reed
Knight.
Richards.
Arthur and Moon Knight. He didn't have a big role, right?
That's
the difference.
true.
Here's the difference. He existed in one comic and then was gone.
Oh, one
Agatha
and
Harkness
72,
had
right.
a massive arc. She
Of
was
course.
first Reed Richards' not Reed Richards. She was Reed's son's babysitter. She was the babysitter for the twins.
Mhm.
And then she was the whole catalyst for giving Mephisto his power. So
Mhm.
for you to completely dilute that and just go, no, it's Agatha that's looking for the power.
What? Is it really diluting? Let me back up here. She's D-list, right? As far as like mainstream, if I go down before
Oh, no,
this,
time out. We can't do that for mainstream.
hang
'cause-
on. No,
all
we
comic book
can
characters
because
are
you don't know the
diluted
point
for
I'm
mainstream.
making.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So let me go back. Marvel has done this before with characters that people don't know. Like, hear me out. Before this month, was anybody outside the realm of that knows what's coming out in Marvel talking about Moon Knight? Was anyone excited about Moon Knight?
But
It's
hold on.
outside of people who read, I'm talking about mainstream.
Right. Let's stick with mainstream. That was the same conversation in 2008. No one was ever talking about Iron Man. Ever.
Right, I agree.
Ever.
You don't know the point I'm making yet, though.
Okay, go ahead.
So, do you think there are people who are going to be like, I need to figure out how to word this. My point is, sometimes you're going to take D-list characters and you're going to change them, or you're going to bring them to the front and tweak them a bit in ways that are different from their origins and make it work and bring light to these characters. So I don't get mad at that. I respect that kind of thing, right? But the point is, if you're going to title something, let's say Uncharted, you're going to call it Uncharted. If you're going to call something Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you have to bring something to the table that is respectful of what you're using from the source material. If you change it, that's fine. If you morph it, that's cool. If you're having a new take on it, that's great. But you can't just put in things that are vaguely kind of sort of similar and like one big thing that people know is connected to the thing and call it a day. You know what I mean?
But the biggest problem with that is Uncharted was a PlayStation exclusive. So you're already saying that there is a portion of the world that does not have PlayStation that has no idea what they're watching, right? So you're creating the movie to where you're bringing in a newer audience, and for them, this is the first telling of that character.
But you can do both. Like, there's no for me in my brain, there's no excuse to change it when you already have a good story. You do. You don't have to change the thing, right? But the thing is, if you do change it, use the source material. They're just creating new content.
All I'm saying is I've been saying that since 2008 in the MCU, almost every single movie. Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, you have the base here. Just do the base, and then you can slightly alter it.
That's why I'm upset about Uncharted, so you get it. No,
but what about that wasn't kind of just using the base and then just like that whole what's her name that he fell in love with? That was actually in the third game, and she screwed him over. Like that whole thing, even the auction. The auction was from the video game where Nathan, you had to go and cut the lights so that Sully and the team could steal the what you call it. So there were a lot of elements that were from some of those games.
But I guess what I'm talking about, when you piece it together as a whole, even though or as an origin, technically, when you piece it together as a whole, it felt empty to me.
I mean, look, that's fair. To me, I thought it was great casting someone like Tom or someone Tom's age.
I just still don't agree with the casting, though. I'm sorry. And I love Tom Holland, you know I do.
I don't
agree with the casting.
You can now have Nathan Drake for like 10, 15 years.
You could do that anyways.
Not if you already... He started the video game in his 30s.
He's fine. He's not going to be old.
Look, that's what we all think, but we've seen too many actors today that's I'm done with
How old? You don't know. Are you... what? See, you're breaking my brain again, Juwaan. Hang on. My thing is, I don't think it's good casting because I don't think they are good represent. Maybe I'll change my mind in a few movies. That's fine. That is a-okay. But nothing that was brought to the table felt like Nathan or Scully specifically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see where you're coming from, and I'm just saying I've had that issue literally almost.
And there's nothing wrong with that issue. There's nothing wrong with the issue. But like I feel like there's a difference between just like taking a character and writing something and slapping on the name, and taking a character, adapting it, and using it in a story in a new way. I feel like those are two different things. It's very, very nuanced. It's a very gray area, and we can pick apart that one day too. But I think that's
a topic.
That's a topic. We just went on for like 30 minutes for this because we just had a
remember that will be a topic. But I want to bring it back to this. I want to ask you, Blake.
Sorry, guys.
No, you're fine. This is a good topic. Write this down.
Good talk.
This is a good topic. Blake, I want to ask you, because I don't want to keep us too much longer, but I do want to ask everybody this one question. Give me one project that you never want to see touched.
Probably Jaws. Like right off the top of my head. Like the first one's a masterpiece. The second one, I give like a C. What? You're not a Jaws fan?
I watched two guys in a boat for an hour and a half.
He doesn't like older movies.
No, if you're telling me I'm watching a shark movie, I need my shark movie to be like Deep Blue Sea. I need that shark.
Oh my God.
It doesn't stop at Jaws. Come on, Juwaan.
Every second.
Back to the Future, Karate Kid. What else haven't you liked?
Oh, no.
He won't watch Karate Kid. He won't watch it, period.
He won't watch it, I know.
Time out. There's a difference. I've never seen those movies. I legit just don't like Jaws. I've seen Jaws. I just don't like it.
Okay.
That's the difference.
But I know the other ones you've never seen.
Right. I've just never seen. Right.
I would rather you have not even seen Jaws than dislike it. That's
I wish that every day of my life that I never saw Jaws.
That
I'm
is
with
a
you, Blake.
stake through the heart.
I'm with you. Every day I wake up, I'm like, damn, I saw Jaws. Like, why? Deep Blue Sea was right there, and I saw Jaws. So Jaws for you is the untouchable. Like, you never want to see it recreated.
Jaws and Back to the Future, I think, are the two that I'm going with. I considered the Untouchables.
Okay, I'm with you there.
Untouchables.
The Untouchables was a great movie. Just that one scene where he took the bat to the guy, that was just beautiful.
No, well, that scene too. That scene, but my favorite scene of all time. My favorite scene in that movie of all time is in the train station with the carriage.
Oh yes,
in slow motion falling down the steps.
Yeah, yep.
I love that scene. Love it.
I'm with you on there. All right, so the Untouchable for me, because it was Godfather and Godfather 2 for forever.
Mm-hmm.
But if you told me Leonardo DiCaprio tomorrow,
yeah, but that's a prequel though. I don't.
Even if you did a modern take where Leo was just he was playing the same role as Marlon Brando. If you did that, I would have no problem with and you just get some other
That's
faces
hard, though,
to kinda
because
fill
we already had a younger one in DeVito. Not DeVito,
No,
De Niro.
no.
DeVito.
I know what you meant.
God forbid.
I'm saying if you did just a remake of specifically Godfather 1 and 2,
Right.
but Leo just played the role that Marlon Brando played.
Right, got you. I got you.
Those movies, I'd be fine with that.
I understand.
So it used to be that, but now in Sabrina will probably be the only one that truly appreciates this. The Batman. There you go. There you go. Don't ever remake it again. That's it. Hang it up. Once Robert Pattinson says I'm done, hang it up. Retire it. It's done. You can't.
I'd be okay with that.
You can't get any better than what he does with this trilogy. You're done. Hang it up. Just
See,
do Nightwing movies going forward. That's what you do.
Yeah. No, see, I actually
films.
At the end of the day, it's like my favorite character, and it's like whatever actor. But like, yeah, I gotta agree. Agree.
You know what?
Same thing with like, but like, I don't want any other director touching Batman either. Like, I just want Matt Reeves. Like, I don't need anybody else.
100%. But you know what, Joe? I'm very much that guy that if I play you one-on-one in a sport and I win, I'm going home. Like, you're looking to play again. I'm done. I've did what I needed to do for the day. I won. I'm done.
But that's not fair. That's being selfish for the next generation or the generation after that.
Fuck them kids.
Nah,
this ends with Robert. Robert and Matt.
Oh my God.
When they're done,
Juwaan.
you hang up the Batman like it's the rafters. His jersey goes up. That's it. Finito. You give the new generation.
I mean, he said it, not me.
I mean, how many Batmans have we got? How many Batmans have we've had in like 30 years, right? We've had what, 5? How many? Loosely off the top of my head, was it 5, 6?
Adam West, Michael.
No,
Keaton,
30 years, not 90s, starting from the 90s.
Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, George Clooney, Christian Bale,
5 or 6?
Ben Affleck, and Robert Pattinson. 6.
Okay, we've had 6 Batmans in the last 40 years. We've had what, 3 Supermen? I'm not counting the ones from the shows, movies itself, right? Mm-hmm. What are they doing with Superman?
What do you mean?
Meaning, like, Batman and Superman are the biggest characters in DC, right?
Right.
I mean, at least I think so.
And I would say like of all time too, though.
What happened?
Well, not all time, because I agree with Jayla. It's hard not to put Spider-Man right next to Batman.
There's not type 3.
No, in DC.
He said DC though.
DC.
No. Sabrina was just saying all time, and I'm like,
no, I'd say I would say Superman, Batman, and Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
Wolverine.
If you're
there's
counting
no
Marvel,
one that doesn't know Wolverine.
Love my
no, but like I'm talking about like when people think of like most of the time, like when you hear like the word like which favorite superhero, more people are going to say those 3.
Okay.
Superman is the most iconic, and Spider-Man and Batman, I think, are the most popular.
Yes, I would agree with
that. And Batman's the most iconic too.
Go Blake.
I would agree with that. Yes.
Superman, just a tier above Batman.
Batman's up here then.
Oh,
Batman's up here then.
Oh, you mean height-wise? Oh, yeah, height-wise. Yeah,
no.
height-wise. I agree.
No, the ears give Batman his height.
Oh, okay. Then I don't know what you mean. Yeah, I don't know what you mean. But you're saying what are they doing with Superman? We're about to get 3 Supermen.
Right.
So we're gonna get 2 black Supermen.
Right.
And then there will be something with essentially Supergirl where it will show Superman down the line.
Are these shows or movies though?
Movies. I
thought one of them is a show on HBO Max.
No. So 2 of them are they're gonna do 2 separate movies. J.J. Abrams is doing one, and Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan, yeah.
Yeah,
I knew the Michael B. Jordan one. I thought the J.J. Abrams one was shelved.
Yeah, me too.
So J.J. Abrams. So this was never said out loud, but when J.J. Abrams, because remember the first thing you heard about J.J. Abrams is that he's doing the Justice League Dark, right?
Yeah.
So originally, from what I heard behind the scenes was JJ only agreed to Justice League Dark because that was the only way to get to do Superman. So it was a wink deal to where DC was like, you do this for me and you can have Superman. Remember, that's what James Gunn said.
Which is funny because like Superman's not really part of Justice League Dark at all as much.
No. They were just saying we want to get this universe up and running.
Because I was like, if they're gonna put Superman on Justice League Dark, I was like, he's not part of it. The only one that's ever really been part of it is like Batman.
I like
CJ
Superman. I like CJ Superman.
Time out, hold on. That's also not true. Because a lot of people thought that with the animated movie. Me and Ernie laughed about that because I said, Ernie, you almost made people believe that Batman's part of Justice League Dark.
No, like he's been like in like issues for it, but like he's not actually part of the team.
He's worked with them, right? Yes.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like that makes more sense than like if they threw Superman in, that would make no sense because there's like no like ever even in like a little story arc where he ever like encountered them.
So we're getting 3 Supermen. in the span of the next 5 to 10 years.
Okay.
What did James Gunn say make that deal for?
No, it wasn't a deal that was made. They told him when they brought him in, we want you to do Superman. He said, absolutely not. I'll do Suicide Squad. And they said, oh, okay, yeah. People didn't really
I
like the
wouldn't
last
want
one.
James
Sure.
Gunn for Superman anyways, personally. No,
that's what James
thanks.
Gunn said. James Gunn said, I don't want to do Superman. That's not me. That's not the kind of thing I do.
No,
That's not his
he's
style.
right at home
Yeah.
with Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
I also believe that's overused. Saying that's not someone's style. People are very versatile.
Not
they
his
just rather
style,
stick
it's
in what they
just-
know.
No.
Not James Gunn. From what
'Cause,
I've
I mean,
seen
look,
in his
Look,
movies.
if I were to tell you the guy who did Knocked Up, the guy who did Superbad is the guy that did The Preacher, the guy that did The Boys, the
he
guy
wanted
that
to do
did
those things.
No. I'm saying Seth Rogen's been a part of all those things.
Oh yeah,
right?
that's not surprising to me at all.
To me, it's surprising because you go the comedy aspect and then seeing how serious The Boys is, seeing how serious The Preacher is.
That's
Boy,
a trend with
I
comedic
wouldn't-
actors, though.
The
All
Boys,
comedic
you wouldn't say
actors
is serious?
Nah.
are
Kind of comedic.
well versed in
Mm,
drama.
Dark
to
comedy.
me.
Yeah,
I was about to
Yeah,
say,
that's
very
how
much
I
dark
describe it.
comedy.
Oh, yeah.
Dark
Dark
yeah.
comedy.
So
Fuck
is
up.
Preacher.
I'm like-
It's
Dark
fucked
comedy.
up.
Because when
They're
I
both
say
dark
comedy, I'm thinking like laugh out loud. This like Superbad is laugh out loud. This is fucking hysterical. I've
Yeah.
never felt that for The
Dark
Boys. Yeah, I've never felt that for The Boys.
No, The Boys is definitely dark comedy.
no,
the only
Boys is
thing
dark comedy.
the only thing that ever happened in Superbad that I thought was dark comedy was when he went to that. I won't say specifically what happened, but when he went to that party and was dancing with that girl.
Oh yeah.
I kind of
Wait, I don't think Superbad was dark comedy.
No, that's what I'm
No,
saying.
it's
The
not.
only part of it I would say
Oh,
was
yeah, yeah.
dark comedy is just that one scene.
Oh.
I remember watching that in theaters like, what the oh my God.
Yeah,
what?
that was
That's gross out.
Yeah.
Oh!
Crude
Oh!
comedy.
Woo. But anyway, so okay, Blake. So you put up there Jaws and Back to the Future. Jayla, what is your untouchables?
I don't have one. I kind of like seeing what people do with ideas and how they
I'm with
morph
you.
them around and how they change them up. Sometimes they make me super upset and I kind of hate the world for like a few moments. And then I'm like, all right, you know what? It's their creative vision and they saw something. So at least they tried. But as long as it's someone trying, someone that has a passion for what they're doing and not just trying to like make a couple extra bucks off of nostalgia, I'm so happy to see it. I want to see people put their own perspective on things because I think that's how we get a lot of great content. But
Yeah,
you know,
I think
we balance out with
sometimes
original stuff, but we get original stuff all the time, so I'm not complaining right now.
we get at least 22 original movies a year now, including streaming, and no one talks about them. You only hear about them when the Oscars come around. You're like, oh shit, that was a movie. That's the problem with society. You ask for original movies and then you don't support them by go watching them. So I don't understand. Like, you're never gonna get an original big box office movie. Why? Because studios are like, if I'm giving you $500 million, there's no fucking way you're about to do a new concept that could fail.
Yeah, it's that
Unless you're
nostalgia.
Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Christopher Nolan.
Yes, but I wouldn't say you're talking about like Inception and stuff. Those aren't
Inception,
like massive.
Tenet, Interstellar.
I
What
like
I mean
Tenet, dang
is-
it.
What I mean is they don't. The money that that you use for an Iron Man movie or a Doctor Strange movie is not what he used for Inception. Now I do the one he just did with Robert Pattinson was probably
Tenet.
his biggest.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was his biggest
that was a very ambitious
budgeted
project.
movie.
Yeah.
Right, 100%. And
You
some
don't
people
think
still-
Dunkirk was?
No, not the.
I think it was up there.
Maybe, but not compared. I don't think compared to Tenet.
No,
How much was
Wasn't
Tenet? There, how much?
Wasn't
How
Tenet's
much?
budget like 300 million or something like that
I can
in
look
the
it up.
pandemic?
Here. I can look.
Because
it
I
up
feel
here.
like Dunkirk was kind of up there too.
Let me see. Keep talking. Let me look
It's
it up.
possible. You
Let me
might
look it
be
up.
right, Sabrina. I don't have the numbers in front of me.
Just
but I know
because,
Tenet-
like, I mean, not that it matters, but like, usually,
it was
especially
only,
if it's
it was only
well, if it's a
150.
war movie, they always have bigger budgets anyway.
It was only 150.
what? Dunkirk.
Dunkirk. Yeah.
What was
Dunkirk.
Tenet?
Oh, okay.
Let me see.
It was probably expensive. I
Tenet,
love.
I thought it was close to 3.
Tenet was only 200.
Okay.
Really?
Oh, really?
Wow.
So it's not that much.
That's
Okay, so
about
I was
Tenet.
actually right though. Like that they were
Alright.
definitely like around the same.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Wow.
big
Okay.
major budgeted movies, they don't usually let you take swings like that. Like Amazon just gave Lord of the Rings $1 billion. Do you think they're giving My Left Foot $1 billion to make that goddamn movie? 100% not. Original concepts, they don't want the risk of it failing because I'm out $1 billion, right?
That's why.
Well, like to add what you were saying, Juwaan, though, like how you said, you don't hear about movies until it's like the Oscars. It's like when they get advertised and you see trailers. Like if you're at the movies and you're going to see like another movie and you see trailers, it's usually like the ones that are like being remade. It's like that familiar title that kind of gets people's eyes, unfortunately.
Right.
You need to get that campaign.
That's what Robert Eggers just said about The Northman, is that he's done with studios because they gave him a big budget for this, or bigger than what he's used to. And they meddled with a lot of it, so he's like, oh my God. Like,
bigger than Lighthouse?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
That movie looks massive. But I agree with him, Blake, because the biggest problem is, and I've spoke to some executives, and they always say the biggest reason why we meddle is you're making a movie out of passion, right? That doesn't always convey to a general audience. They need something big and flashy, whether it's a name, whether it's a sequence, something that kind of pulls them in, right? Because they're not going there for the mythology of it. They don't give a fuck, right? So you need something flashy that brings them in. So that's where a studio goes. It's not bad what you did, but there's no way my son that's 15 years old would ever go see this just off the premise of what you made, right? I always say The Last Duel. The Last Duel, if you're talking about a movie to be nominated for the Oscars, that's what that shit was made for. A movie to get a random 24-year-old in to watch, there's nothing appealing about that fucking movie. Not a one thing, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, you always as a studio, you got to look at it and you got to go, I got to appeal to more than just what you think this specific audience would appeal to. And that's where I got to get in there and work my hands around and shit.
Yeah, you got to appeal to all ages and audiences.
Right. I think either franchises need the space to prove themselves, or directors and writers need the space to prove themselves. Like James Wan at this point, James Wan is given the opportunity to do more and more, to do just what he wants or what he needs to do, because he's proven that he can pull in a crowd by his name alone. I mean, think of all the things he's done, all the different franchises he's done.
You're right, but I think Lionsgate would say that Saw 1 was a low risk, high reward.
That's what I'm saying.
If Saw didn't work, they were like, okay, gone with you. We're out of here. So I'm like, you approach that as a small budget though, right?
Yeah.
So I'm saying somewhere. A studio will never give you a massive budget to start.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You got to work your way up. Yeah, you got to work your way up to that. And unfortunately, some of these original concepts, it's just, it's not doing it. Like, look, Tenet was done by a massive director, a great cast, a very doable budget, and people still trash that movie, right? So it's it's not always a winning recipe because you have the names in the sequences and whatnot. So sometimes,
because I think it's like, I mean, like I'm.
It's a hard to grasp movie. I still don't know what happened, but I have.
Well, that's why I think it like Christopher Nolan makes a lot of movies that are like very. I'm trying to think like the word to describe it, like very hard to grasp. Like I'd say Inception, now Tenet too. I'm trying to think what else, but like I don't know, like there's just like movies like that like not every audience gets it. But like they'll go see it because it's like, oh, it's Christopher Nolan, and then when you like, you know, so and then some people watch it and they're like, oh, I don't really. That's why I think it's like kind of, I don't want to say it gets trash, but like that's why it'll get some criticism because of that.
Well,
alone.
Not really. People didn't understand Inception, and they fucking loved that movie. That movie did very well.
Well, because the cast.
I won't argue that.
I think Tenet was just underdeveloped, not underdeveloped. I think it's just very divisive because of how confusing the story is.
I still don't know everything about it. I saw it for Rob,
and
like,
some of the
and
sound
John
design
Dave
was
watched
a bit
it
off because I couldn't hear half the things that were going on.
My problem
it
with
was
that
very.
movie was he was trying to go too high stakes, and he fell flat. Simple as that. It happens. Everyone goes through that.
That's a great point.
What happened with
That's
that
a great point. Either you
tried
like
to
it or you
go
don't.
way too big, and you just fell flat. That's it. Not saying it's a bad movie if you liked it.
Well, that's what I mean. Like that's what people expect though when it comes to Christopher Nolan, because those are his movies.
That's a really good point.
That's the problem.
They always expect that, like it to be like up there, whether it's supposed to be just a simple concept or not. It's like it's already gonna get that praise because
that I would have liked that movie a lot more if it was a more if it was lower stakes, if it was more
I agree.
Bottled.
Now,
I would have liked that more.
I wanted to bring this up to you guys because I was watching a show where they brought up the movie Life, not the one with Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy, the one with Ryan Reynolds and Jake Gyllenhaal.
The Venom prequel.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad you said that, Blake, because I will always say, if you were trying to sell a universe with no fucking Spider-Man, why wouldn't you connect those movies? That would have made way more sense.
What movies are you trying to connect?
The movie Life, where it was kind of like
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I haven't rented. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, okay. Then I won't say anything else. But I'll say this, Jayla. You know the origins of Venom's story, right?
I'm
Not
familiar.
the movie, but the comics.
Yeah.
How he landed here on the spaceship. Essentially, Life was doing
Secret Invasion, all that stuff. Yeah.
Right. Essentially, Life was doing that storyline. So everyone thought at the time that Life was the prequel to Venom. Only for the studio to come out and go, no, those two things aren't connected. And we're like, wait, whoa, hold on. Did we
see? I knew nothing about that until Blake told me. I was like, what?
Yeah. Everyone up. That's why a lot of people went out to go see it because they're like, oh shit, Venom prequel. I can't wait to see how this all shakes out. And then you see the end credit scene and you're like, oh, it's setting up Venom. And then you see Venom and you're like, there's no mention of any of this. Like,
well, now I'm sad.
But I will say though, Jayla, regardless of it's connected or not, Life is a really solid movie.
So Doctor Sleep in Life. That's my homework.
It was
Yeah,
good.
Life was pretty solid. Yeah, don't But they had a chance to connect that and they didn't, and it's just like yikes.
I didn't have opportunities.
Would you say, Blake?
It's connected in my head.
In my head too. It's
the
only way.
It's your little head canon.
It's a multiversal Venom prequel with Deadpool and Mysterio.
Yes, 100%. I'm with you there. Yes, it does. It does. For me, that's the only way to make Venom work is for me to do that. It's to connect it. But Trevon, what's your untouchables?
Untouchables. I don't know. Like I said earlier about Clue was the only one that I was like, I'm just extremely cautious about. I welcome them. I just hate when they get started and they just stop abruptly after like the first movie or whatever, like Power Rangers. That really hurt me. Like I wanted to see it go forward. Well, just one movie and then stop, you know.
It didn't
I get
make
why.
Enough,
I know.
Okay, I was about to say it didn't make enough money and it was trashed by critics. I mean, trashed. They gave that movie no chance whatsoever. They were just like, hey, you saw that? Don't you dare. And it's like, bro, it wasn't that bad. Relax.
I want like I get the, you know, the money and stuff like that. I just want a like if you're gonna remake something, just at least see it through, like do 3. Like,
that's a risk.
I know, but it's like
you're asking me.
Don't get me hyped about it. I might like it. What just because I get it, then I don't get it. It's like if I liked it, I wanted to keep going, of course. But it's like, oh, they didn't like it, so we canceled the whole damn thing. I'm like,
well, no. Let me be very clear. It's never the critics' response, because if a movie makes money, but the critics don't like it, they'll just find a way to fix it, but keep going. The problem with Power Rangers was it made no money. So you're asking me to give you $200 million 3 times, and none of the 3 times you make up the budget that I gave you? Hell no. This ain't no loan office. I don't just hand out money. Like, absolutely not. So that's why the Power Rangers had to abruptly stop, was the money. Because they could sell critics not liking it. We've seen the DCEU thrive off of critics not liking their movies, but they made money. That's why it's still continuing. But to not make money and the critics didn't like you, no way you could sell that to a studio. No goddamn way ever. But I'm with you. I didn't hate the movie. I just wish I saw more of them as Power Rangers than as them regular selves. Like Jayla was saying about calling it Uncharted and then not feeling Uncharted. You called this movie Power Rangers, and I saw them as Power Rangers at the end. The fuck? No, I want them as Power Rangers from like the first 30 minutes. Like morph. What are we waiting for here? Morph. So that was my biggest issue.
Okay.
That has to be you know who that has to be, Jayla. To answer your question. But any
not
other
us. It's not any of us.
Any other untouchables, Trevon?
No, I don't really. No, I'm welcome it. I can usually welcome it. Just wear it. I'm like, no, don't touch it. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm with you and Jayla. You have to do a really shitty job for me to go, okay, no one else can touch this. I gave it twice and you did horrible both times. Don't touch it again. Like, it's just best you don't put your hands on that. Joe, what are your untouchables?
So is it strictly movies or can we do series?
Whatever you want to do. Whatever for you is untouchable.
Because we mentioned Back to the Future. One of my other choices is Rocky. I don't think you don't remake Rocky. But if I'm gonna go shows, I think it's a toss-up, but don't laugh at me. Between The Sopranos,
I agree,
and Golden Girls.
Oh, yeah, that's great take.
Yeah, Golden Girls would be
that's
really
a wonderful
weird.
Take.
Yeah,
Golden Girls would be really weird because if you were to do it today, you couldn't do actresses of the age those actors were at that time. I feel like you could only either go younger or older, but it has to be
Golden Girls.
That is true.
You can't do it. You just can't do it. You win there.
Then I'm with you. Yeah, you win there.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Actually, I rebuked mine.
You win there. Yeah, you win there. You win there. No, I wouldn't laugh at either one of those. To touch The Sopranos is like, why? We were questioning doing a prequel. We were like, fuck, why? But then the prequel was great. So to me,
look again, if they do, so prequels are muddy waters, right? It's like that gray line or that gray area, but prequels, I can tolerate more than just like a flat out reboot. You know, if you're gonna do prequels because it's, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's a way around it, but yeah. So if they end up doing, because what is the rumors now? The rumors are David Chase wants to do a series or something like that, and I think you'd use Anthony Sopranos as a young kid and then start from there.
Well, no, I think the way that went was the studio wanted.
The studio wants it. Okay.
He just wanted to do prequels. He's like, I'll do prequels.
I thought he was signed on though. Didn't they say when the movie came out he was signed on to do a series?
Because I remember him vehemently saying, "I'm fine with prequels. I do not want to do a continuation of the show." Okay. But HBO was just like, "But what about money? What if I just give you money? Like, money? Will you do it for money?
It's always money.
It's always money. Always money." So I appreciate those two picks. I definitely appreciate those two picks. For me, I don't really have anything, to be honest. Like, all jokes aside, to me, I'm definitely one of those people when it comes to movies and TV shows. I'll give you a chance. I will 100% give you a chance because I'll see it through a new generation's eyes, right? So I'll see it through when it first came out and then now. You just have to be good. That's all I ask for. Just be good. That's it. And if you're good, no problems with me. So I don't really have one, if I'm being honest with you. But Sabrina, what's your untouchables?
So I had a lot, but half of them got made anyway. Unfortunately, some of them, but other ones are like, okay. I feel like it probably wouldn't happen, but at the same time, it's like that they oh my god, what was I gonna say? Now they start doing like 80s movies reboots that like it might one day be possible, and it's The Outsiders. From like the book. I don't know. It's just because I never thought, because like that's straight from the book. Like it's literally like the most like out of every like book, I would say like that's one of the best ones and like the most like straight from like the fucking book. But honestly, because like they do every 80s movie and it's technically an 80s movie, like I don't know. A part of me is like I want to rule it out and be like they're safe, but at the same time it's like now that they do everything, I'm scared. And I really, and like I don't mean that in a mean way. Like I just hope that they don't, because like that's so perfect, and like I don't want that ever touched, because like you can't get it better than that. Because I already know, like, and I'm just saying this from like a opinion or anything. It's like because that's straight from like that was the most like straight from the book they could ever get. So like if they do anything, it's not going to be the same.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I mean, look, Joe's going to be so upset in 10 years when Jake Paul does Rocky. He's gonna be so upset.
You're not funny. You are not funny.
Listen. If they remake Rocky, there's nothing I can do about it. But there's one thing: please just don't ever touch Home Alone. Okay?
They already did.
I have bad news for
you.
you.
They already did. What are you talking about?
Don't tell me this.
Plus.
What happened? What did I miss?
There is
it's
one.
on Disney Plus. It came out on Christmas.
Home Sweet Home Alone.
Yeah,
I
it came
know.
out on
I'm
Christmas. Yeah.
I'm teasing.
I
know.
wish it happened.
I
I wish
No,
I could
but
forget.
look, Joe, I'm just telling you, prepare yourself for Rocky to walk out with the Charizard card around his neck, and for him to fight Floyd Mayweather in the Rocky movie. That's what's gonna happen, man. I'm just telling you, prepare yourself. Jake Paul is about to be our new Rocky.
Stop it! Don't even say that.
Yo, if there's one thing I could manifest, it would be that. It would
Please
be.
don't say that.
just
Don't
to
say
see what
that.
the
Don't do that
world's
to me.
to Jake
Oh,
Paul as
man.
Rocky. I want to make that happen. All right, last thing before we get out of here, because we did this stream earlier, me, Trevon, and AJ, but I wasn't able to give Blake an opportunity to voice his opinions. But I do want to hear you guys' takes on our first look at Gore the God Butcher.
I didn't see it.
From the Marvel Legends line that we got. I got you, Joe. Hold on.
I'll look it up.
Oh, okay.
Okay, if you want to bring it up, you can bring it up. It's up to you.
All right. So we got our first look at Gore the God Butcher. It's not that one. Hold on. Not that one. That's what he should look like. But
he doesn't.
But he does not.
I mean, I seen him as a Lego.
Oh yeah, never judge a Lego.
He's not too far off though.
No, Trevon, you remember the comparison I made of what he looks like, right?
Yeah.
He looks just like Zordon when he was dying in that Mighty
Yes, he
Morphin
does.
Power Rangers movie.
I
said he
seeing
looks like
something
Drax.
To me, honestly, he reminds me of one of the characters in the Rocky Horror Picture Show. To me,
Yes.
No, Blake's right though. He definitely looks like Drax a lot.
Yeah.
In the eyes.
So Blake, I want to go right to you, man. What are your thoughts?
Okay, I'm not gonna pretend like I'm the biggest Gore the God Butcher fan. Like I really heard of him and started to learn more about him when he was announced to be played by Christian Bale in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going purely based on design here. I have no prior knowledge to the character,
Mm-hmm.
but when I did look into the character and see that really cool design that he had, like it's just awesome design. And when it comes to Thor villains, they haven't really gone too crazy with their look. Hela had one of the most impressive designs, I think, when it came to, and of course Loki, but Loki's a given. When it came to the Surtur looked great too. Curse didn't look extremely comic accurate, but he had the horns and the tusks and everything. He looked fine. But with Gore, and I don't know if it's true, but I saw a lot of people saying Christian Bale doesn't like prosthetics or CGI on his face, which could be the case.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I mean, he could end up being a phenomenal villain in that movie, and in which case my argument will go out the window. But they sacrificed making a really cool comic book villain not look anywhere near as cool because they wanted that actor, which it might have been a good sacrifice because Christian Bale's a great actor. So it might have ended up being worth it, but just going, and of course it's just the toy box. Like he could look so much better in the trailer, but going off this picture in front of my face, I'm like,
To be fair though, Marvel Legends, when they released the artwork for the character, 7 to 8 times out of 10, that's exactly what they look like.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more polished for the movie, but that comes from promotional images. That means on posters and shit, that's probably exactly what Gore looks like.
I mean, specifically when it comes to like seeing them in action.
Yes,
like that
right.
This one pose of him holding a sword down low, that's one thing, but seeing a trailer of him grabbing Thor with like a menacing look on his face, like that could totally change my mind.
Yeah.
So just going purely off this promo art,
yeah,
I'm underwhelmed. Like I don't see anything too special with him, but I love Marvel, so I want to be proven wrong. But just right now, I'm not loving it.
And look, Jayla, I want to pass it to you because Gore the God Butcher should be a character you're very interested in because he comes from your Spider-Man mythology. Anyone who doesn't know, Gore the God Butcher comes. He takes his weapon from Null, who is the creator of the symbiotes. He stole the Necromancer sword.
In black.
Right. He stole the Necromancer sword from him. So the Necromancer sword usually is formed from his arm. That's the way that Gore the God Butcher uses it. It forms from his arm and becomes the sword. So I think my biggest question to you is, Jayla, knowing that we're not going to get obviously the Necromancer sword, because no way Sony is helping them in that sense after they done booted Venom out. No way they're going to help them in that sense. So, are you familiar with Gore the God Butcher? And if you are, Your thoughts on the look, and how do you think they'll kind of convey this character?
I am lightly familiar. I know of him. I haven't, I can't do a bunch of recall of specific times I've read his stories, but I have read stories with him before. I'm familiar enough. I have no idea what they're going to do, how they're going to translate it going forward. I'm pretty interested because, guys, how we were talking about earlier, and the reason I say I don't know is Marvel will take characters that people don't really know about, people that don't really talk about, and they'll take them and transform them into something different. So I have no idea what direction they're going. I can know more when we see the trailer, and I can kind of see the general vibe and tone they're taking with him. But knowing Marvel, they can do anything. So my guesses are not gonna be helpful yet. I'm still processing the look. If you can't tell, I don't really know what to say because that's a look. It's
that's something.
It's a
that's
look.
For sure something.
100%. It's something I see with my eyes right now that I don't know how I feel about because he does have a well, I'm very interested to see it in action.
I will say this, Jayla, I said this earlier, but I'll say it again in case we have new listeners part of this stream. To me, I was telling Trevon, to me, the story is more important than the
no, I agree. I agree fully.
The story of Gore the God Butcher was his family was wiped out. And he would pray to the gods to help save his family, but the gods never answered.
Right.
So he took that very personally and decided to go out on a mission to kill every possible god he could find. And he ends up building or trying to build what he called a god bomb. And when the god bomb erupts, it kills every living god throughout the universe. So that was his whole process of becoming Gore the God Butcher, right? So to me, as long as you keep the essence of that, I can move. Look, I'm watching Halo where that motherfucker takes the helmet off.
Don't remind me. Why do they remind me every single show?
No, I'm just saying. So if I can get over that, I think a good story can make me get over.
Well, Christian Bale's an amazing actor, so I'm not complaining.
Right. So I'm like, if
I don't know how to take it yet. It's very shocking. The look is very shocking to the system when it comes to Gore. I have to see it in action, dude. I just have to see it in action before I can give you an opinion on it. I don't know.
As long as he doesn't growl, like as long as he's not like, tell me where Thor is.
I'll be
all right. Where's the gods?
Oh God.
No.
Don't do that.
I like the detailing on his arm though. I was checking that out that he has going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's cool. I don't know, guys. I gotta wait and see it in action.
Look, no. I'm not holding anyone to any opinion they have.
Yeah.
I say this every time a superhero movie comes out. If you are finished filming, you should always drop promotional work first. And the reason I say that is when Shazam was filming and we got a set photo of Shazam in that suit, people destroyed.
Oh, I remember that. Oh,
and what was the very next thing David Sandberg did? He released the first official look at Shazam, and everyone said, "Oh, okay, all right, we get it." What did Matt
They did
Reeves
the same thing with Batgirl's suit.
Yeah,
and then until someone saw it from the side, they're like.
But what did Matt Reeves do? He not only gave us a video of an introduction of what he looks like, he released the suit. Why? Because he's like, look, if you're gonna hate it, you're gonna hate it by how the final look is, not how what you saw from a set photo. So to me, the fact that
you didn't even see the full top to bottom batsuit though, the way they usually show it.
In the set photos, you did.
No. Like when he first showed the video, you did not. All you saw was from the symbol and the cowl up. That's it.
Right.
So yeah.
So I think Thor's making a big mistake by not only dropping a trailer, but just dropping look, Marvel Legends and Lego sets. Marvel Legends and Lego sets get leaked every year when it comes to Marvel. Every year it gets leaked. So if you know that, you can't keep thinking just because we enjoy your past work that we'll always shoot you bail for everything you do going forward. Hell no. This shit looks crazy. Like, I don't care how good the movie is. That doesn't take away from how crazy this look is.
I'm just not sure what's going on with the detailing on like his around his eyes. Like I need to see.
So hold on, let me show again.
Actual
Let me
content.
show again.
Yeah. I mean,
Let me
we
show
have to,
again.
you're not going to really know until you see the trailer or the movie, but you gotta
Right,
see
which is why I'm saying
official promo from.
I'm curious.
Well,
It piqued my interest.
That is though, Joe. That's my point. That is part of their promotion for it.
No, so that picture you just not the one that you have on the screen, the one you had before of Christian Bale. Is that on the side of that Marvel Legends figure?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's promotional. Because remember,
to be fair, I mean, I'm not excusing it, but sometimes some promo stuff, like their face it can look disoriented and stuff like that. So I mean, I was waiting for a trailer.
That's why I said 7 to 8 times out of 10, what you see on the side of that box is what you get. But it is that slight percentage that is like,
yeah,
it does look better than that.
And it's funny because I have the promotional picture of Moon Knight right next to me, right when you said that, and I'm like, yeah, it's pretty spot on.
Right,
always
exactly.
When they released the promo art.
Exactly. So to me, when you really, and again, I think what people need to understand is Marvel did not release this. This was leaked. So this wasn't Marvel or Hasbro, which is where Marvel Legends figures are made from. Mm-hmm. This wasn't them promoting it. This was leaked.
Yeah.
So this, I'm sure Marvel was like, we wanted a trailer first before you guys saw this, but that's not how today's world works. So it's why you got to be a step ahead.
So where's that trailer, Marvel? We're already forming.
Give me the trailer, please.
Honestly, the fact that people are like debating it now would be like the best time to drop it. So like people could either like kind of base it off of that and see if they really like it or not.
Or it might be the worst time, because if Gore does indeed look like that in that trailer,
I don't.
You want to hide it as much as possible.
I don't think he will.
Like I said, if he's doing something menacing or something cool, that could help with the design.
He looks like he's like mid-action in the promo and that side image too. I was trying to see like what his hands were doing.
Yeah, so it looks like he's going to transform into something.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to see.
From what I heard, Gore the God Butcher possibly, again, grain of salt, possibly could be utilized the way that they use Cell in Dragon Ball Z. So remember when Cell would absorb the androids and he would look different and grow stronger.
Every time he killed a god, he would transform.
Per god, I was thinking.
Kills, that works so well. Oh my god.
He absorbs their power.
That'd be perfect.
Bless you. Maybe that could be what they're doing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Again,
the only other thing I thought of
that too.
The only thing I thought of, Juwaan, because I looked up photos like this, and that's what I seen. The only thing I thought maybe they were straying away from is because he resembles, not fully, just a little bit, the facial features resembles Ebony Maw. So maybe they just didn't want like repetition.
Well, only
that and like Drax, he looks like, yeah.
Only reason I wouldn't consider that an issue, Joe, is Ebony Maw was a character you use technically once. I don't count Endgame because you brought him back just to die.
Yeah.
So you technically used them once. So I don't think people would remember his face that well to correlate the two. Now, if the character was used throughout the MCU, then I'm with you. You don't double down on that look.
Gotcha.
But
I mean, now that he said it, I kind of think about it.
So quickly. But right, he had to say it though. You didn't see it and then think.
I saw Ebony Maw and I saw Voldemort. To be honest, it was the two things I saw.
Voldemort is the cooler aspect of it. That's where you want to go with. Yeah. He who shall not be named. Yeah. That's what you want for Gore the God Butcher.
Oh man, I honestly does. Crap.
Yeah.
I mean,
man, he does.
I mean, like I said, to me, I don't hold. Again, this was always one of my most anticipated movies. Nothing has changed based on that look. Because I know this story of Thor and Gore the God Butcher. They went really crazy, though, by the way, if I could say, with Gore the God Butcher story. There were like 3 different ages of Thor. Thor had 3 daughters that all had the power. They got really expansive and wild.
I gotta do my homework and catch up then, because I haven't read too much.
See, I was with you, Juwaan, with Thor, because I love Thor Ragnarok. It's one of my favorite Marvel movies. So I couldn't wait for them to come out with this one. I love Taika, but I think Doctor Strange too for me right now. Just because what we're getting, I'm just anticipating, and it's strange, no pun intended. That I do, because I think I told you that when we first saw the first trailer, which was attached to No Way Home, because I didn't know the context of it. I needed a little bit more. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go see it regardless. But the more that's coming out, especially Professor X and the other rumors that we're hearing, I can't wait for this movie to come out.
Love and Thunder is my most anticipated for Marvel this year, not including the shows, because Moon Knight would be number one by a landslide.
Okay.
But Thor: Love and Thunder is my most anticipated because it has the least amount of questions. I know the exact story. Whether or not they stick to it is always a different story.
Interesting take.
But how Jane is going to become female, or I'm sorry, Taika. How Jane is going to become Thor. I know the premise of that. How Gore the God Butcher comes in. I know the premise of that. I know the premise of what they're going to be using for the Guardians in this movie. I also know Thor's get up that you see in this toy line, where it's just like a jacket and jeans. That's from Thunderstrike, the character Thunderstrike. In the comics, that was like a fake Thor on Earth. So there's a lot of stuff that I'm like, I know it. I know where you're going with this, right? Because this is based off of a comic run. What you change is to be seen. But in the Multiverse of Madness, that's not based off of something singular. That's you taking a bunch of original concepts, but the kind of base of maybe one or two comics. So I'm like, that could be questions fucking everywhere of that movie, from the beginning credits to the end credits. So I'm like, that is more so I'm leaving up in the air of you just do whatever you want and I'll accept it. Thor: Love and Thunder, you got to do right by Jane. You got to do right by Thor by ascending him and making him the All-Father. And you got to do right by Gore the God Butcher. And I'm sorry, Valkyrie needs a longer sword. Last time I checked, this isn't prison. This is not prison. I don't know why they keep having her fight with a shank. Give her a goddamn long sword and let's get it over with. But what were you gonna say, Jayla?
I was gonna say, I think the more questions I have is why I'm more excited for Doctor Strange 2. I'm the opposite. Also, Raimi's coming back, and
I was gonna say, come on, Jayla.
About Raimi.
That's a big thing for you.
I know, but also because I'm a big fan of. I'm gonna butcher his name, so I'm gonna say it right now. I'm a big fan of Thor: Love and Thunder's director too.
Taika Waititi.
Taika, thank you. If anyone hasn't seen What We Do in the Shadows, please go watch it. It's amazing. But
and Jojo Rabbit.
Jojo Rabbit.
Yes. Yeah, Jojo Rabbit. Yep.
And he's so funny.
Boy. Nobody ever talks about Boy.
Yeah, he's great.
Absolutely. Oh shit! Yeah. Thank you, Blake. Damn. No, I didn't think.
Love that movie.
Shout out.
Yeah. I give you that. Yeah, 100%.
But the Doctor Strange 2, there's the questions I have. Raimi's coming back. The feel that it's giving me already from the little bits that we've seen has just got my attention, like a grasp that it will not let go. So I think just by a little bit, because Thor is number 2 as far as the movies go. But number 1, I'm sorry.
It's also, think about it. It's continuation for 3 things going on now. It's a sequel to Doctor Strange. It's coming off of No Way Home, right? So you have aspects of that, and you got aspects of WandaVision and what happened after that. So there's a lot of things.
What if?
And what if?
Yeah,
yes,
and what
exactly.
if? And it's opening up a lot of doors, guys.
There's
a lot of things.
That's a big thing. It is.
The thing I'm most excited about is from Love and Thunder. Is I was telling Trevon, because Trevon was like, "How are they going to go about Jane Foster?" And I'm like, I think they're going to go the route that when she had the ether inside of her, the radiation caused cancer.
Sense. Yeah.
And what she's going to do is she's going to go to New Asgard and try to give her last goodbyes to Thor. And when she goes there, she finds out he's not there. And then she probably, because you see in set photos that Mjolnir, all broken up, is now a shrine in New Asgard. So I could see her going and leaning in front of Mjolnir to kind of feel connected to Thor. And that's when it assembles. And then it calls to her. And then she gets the power of Thor. Now, I say this all the time. I sometimes create concepts that are way cooler than what they actually pull off.
Don't do it. Because then you watch the movie and it's like,
that wasn't in the movie. Way too high. And I'm not happy with you.
Look, I say this all the time. I would love to adapt from a comic to a series or to a movie, because I'm like, I know really cool ways to do it. So I could see Jane doing that, like just kneeling in front of Mjolnir to feel closer to Thor, and that's when it calls to her. And she becomes Thor. I'm very excited to see when she becomes Thor what Valkyrie says. Like, interesting. Because Valkyrie now, they're saying the character is now interested in both genders.
Yes.
So I'm like, I wonder if she's just like, well, hold on, Thor. You don't need a love interest. Maybe I do. Yeah. Maybe I fall it, because in the comics, Valkyrie and Thor, they do have a connection. So what if the Valkyrie and Thor connection isn't Thor Odinson. It's Jane's Thor in Valkyrie. I would like them to go there. I really would.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but did I hear that Natalie Portman is only Thor in this movie, or like going forward, she's also the Mighty Thor along with Chris Hemsworth Thor? Like it's both of them.
Yes.
Okay. Because I do like Jane Foster Thor, and I love Natalie Portman just as an actress. So I don't know where it came from, but I heard it was just like a one-time thing for this movie, and I'm like, I feel like that's not the right call.
From what I'm hearing, they're gonna approach it essentially like we know they approached the Green Lantern, to where one stays on Earth and one is a more galactic, like you know how like they'll do for Peter and Miles, or War Machine and Riri, or Hawkeye or Clint, and now the new Hawkeye. So I think they're gonna kind of have it to where one is more your friendly neighborhood Thor, and then one is your more Avengers level, massive scale. Because I don't see Thor. I don't see Thor leaving New Asgard again. So I think he'll find himself in this movie and remember that he belongs with his people. That's why I think he'll ascend to becoming the All-Father. He'll become the All-Father, and that will be his name, All-Father. And then Jane can just be Thor. I think that's the best way to do it, where there's just no confusion. Because if you're just like, if I have to say Almighty Thor every time I mention her, I'll fucking hate the MCU. Like, find a way to make it easier. Right? Like, you can't just call her Jane. When she's not Thor, the cancer comes back. So she reverts back to her old self. So it's like, you got to kind of make it to where it makes sense and it's fluid in the sense of this is Thor now and he's ascended to another title. And I think making him the All-Father. And if you see the suit on the side of the box for Thor's figure, he looks like Odin. So I'm like, he looks like he's a fucking All-Father. So I'm like, it looks like that's where they're going. But Joe, were you going to add something before we head off?
No, I guess I got it reversed. I thought for some reason, and it sounds stupid because it sounds like it would be reversed. I thought each time she became Thor, she got sicker. It's the opposite. Is it?
Yeah. Each time she garnishes that power, she does become sicker.
So how do you
100%.
Continue that?
What do you mean? No. She doesn't become sicker to the point to where she dies. Eventually, at some point, they retconned it. First of all, they retconned it when they made Thor again, but they retconned it. So she doesn't keep going and then die. Okay. So the MCU can fix it however they want to fix it. They'll probably do it like this, Joe. Whenever she does not hold the hammer, she reverts back to her sick self, where she's vulnerable to die. Because she doesn't become a god. She just has the power of a god. I think that's what a lot of people get confused. So when she gets the hammer, she doesn't become just like Thor. She just possesses the power of Thor.
Right.
So when she doesn't have the hammer, she's still vulnerable to just go up and just go stab. All right, you're dead. Like, you can't do that to Thor, right? So that's the biggest difference between the two. Is that if Thor doesn't have his hammer, he's not vulnerable to die from a bullet. Right. He's still a god. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference between the two. But you are right. The more she harnesses the power, the sicker she gets.
Okay.
But I don't believe there's any way they brought back Natalie Portman to be that big of a character to say, hey, A, you're only in one movie, or B, we're gonna kill you off soon. Like,
that's what I honestly that's what I assumed. I really did. I did think she was gonna get killed off, to be honest.
Because I'm like, all right, Odin died already in the MCU. So I'm like, there was really no reason to bring this story about, right? So I'm like, if you're bringing her back for one movie or just to die, there was really no need to bring her back at all. That's how I personally feel. No need to bring her back at all, unless this movie ends with her dying, Thor takes Mjolnir back, and they introduce Beta Ray Bill, and he takes Stormbreaker. You do that, I can get on board with that shit.
It's possible.
But if you're just killing her off for the sake of killing her off, no need to bring her back. No need. But all right, guys. Shout out to Jayla for this topic, for this episode. I enjoyed this conversation, man.
Yep.
I enjoyed it a lot. I found out a lot about you guys. You don't like my Jaws take. Apparently, some of you don't like Chris Pratt.
Yeah. Scream 5 is the best, Juwaan.
Scream 5 is the best. Man. Jake Paul is the best version of Rocky. Like, I learned a lot about you guys.
I've grown 20 gray hairs thanks to Juwaan.
Yeah, for the Hercules stuff alone. That gave me enough stress that I did not need.
Every single one of us felt personally attacked by something you said today.
Yeah.
Juwaan is our Regina George of the night. Thank you.
What do you guys
You're welcome.
Oh my God, don't bow.
I bowed to it.
Nice. Go ahead. That's actually going.
What are you going to say, Joe?
No, it's dumb because I think he's too old. But then again, Chris Pratt was too. We were talking about Hercules, and I was looking up some people. Wyatt Russell. For
Wyatt Russell's too tall.
I like that
That's
a
too
lot.
tall for
I
Hercules.
like that.
He just
more
has.
than Chris Pratt.
You know what?
I
I'm
see
only
it.
going from the
That's what I'm
animated,
saying, Trevon. He's too
the
tall.
animated look.
He's too tall.
That's the only reason why he's too
Yeah,
tall.
he's too tall.
Too
He is
tall
too
for
tall.
Hercules.
Hercules.
Yeah, that's all I'm
Yeah.
saying.
For Hercules,
It's
you're too
Hercules.
tall
Yes.
for her. I'm done. I'm done.
It's too tall for Hercules. Hell
What's
yeah.
wrong with
Nah, I can't get Daniel Sharman out of my head now. I need him.
Alright.
I need him as Hercules.
I'm on Zac
Someone said
Efron.
Richard Madden. I
I'm on
saw.
Zac Efron.
Yeah, Richard Madden is
Ooh, oh my god, hello. Okay. I can see that
Man,
one.
why you say hello like that? Like,
No, because like I'm
Richard
like
Madden.
the gears in my head. The gears in my head. I'm like, oh, okay, hello, I can see that. Mhm, I
oh
see
my
the vision.
god. Sabrina said hello like that took her somewhere. Like, oh my god.
Well, I see visions of stuff, and I'm like, I see it. I see it.
Lil Wolfie asked me why do I hate Jaws. Again, I don't hate the premise of the movie. I just hate I don't see enough shark. I want to see sharks eating people, and it was clearly not enough of that. Sorry.
It's a thriller.
We-
a
we-
And
movie.
yet
we
it's
have a
still
talk about
and yet it
Jaws.
still
I
scarred
don't
me for
like
life.
I don't like that.
He
I don't
ate
like
like
that.
5 people in that movie.
5? Deep Blue Sea ate 5 people in the first 10 minutes.
We need to stop
I
comparing.
need
these
more.
It's not a
things.
competition,
Yes,
Juwaan.
it is.
I am begging
Top
people.
tier storytelling, great characters that you don't want to die.
Oh
Eat
my
people.
god.
Eat people. I
And
want you to eat
It doesn't matter how many people he ate. I still was traumatized either way. So
Nah, I left Jaws going, well, hell, it looks like he's selective on who he eats. I'm fine.
no,
Deep
I was
Blue
never
Sea
the
ate
same.
Everybody.
Mm-mm.
I need you to eat everybody. But speaking of sequels, I want to end on this. I need you guys to dig into your bag and give me a remake of Anaconda. I need it. I need it. I
Ooh.
need it.
Ooh.
I like
need
that
it.
original one too.
Or
I love the original one, especially how John Voight died in that movie.
Yeah.
Epic. I
Who
love
was
that
he again?
movie.
Who did
Huh?
he play? Which one was he?
Shit, I can't remember the character's name. But I'll have to look it
How
up.
did he die? Because I'll remember
Um,
the scene.
Hold on. Let me
Or the face.
bring it up. Hold on. But hold on. While I look that up, the premise of what I was saying is I've always been fascinated with anacondas, right? The thing of them squeezing you to death to break all your bones, swallow you, and then just spit you out in a few days. I love that concept. To me, I don't know why it fascinates me so much, but it does. And
Horrifying.
I want to see more of that. It's such a weapon, right? Because you're like, well, shit, it could just bite me and kill me, right? No, I mean, it just squeeze you to death.
It's gotta be
That's
so much worse.
That's it. And you know what's funny? I looked this up. You know what kills you before your bones break? Suffocation.
Yeah.
You suffocate long before your bones break,
Oh,
and that
shit,
kills you. So that's why they say anacondas do that, because they kind of just smother you to death. So once you're dead, then it's very easy to break your bones because you're not struggling. So it's more so just like a bones done, and I can just swallow you now. So I'm super fascinated by it. So I need a remake, and I need J-Lo and Ice Cube to come back. So I need it to be a soft reboot where they come back and they have to take down this anaconda. That's like the Meg. Make it bigger. Do what the Meg did and make that anaconda bigger. That's what you
Let
do.
me
You go
guess,
big
you
or
like
go
the
home.
Meg more than you like Jaws.
Any day of the week. It has Jason
Oh.
Statham in it. Has Jason Statham in it. What do you want from me? I'm a massive Jason Statham fan. Jason
That also
Statham doing
traumatized me is that there's
karate
something
on-
bigger than a great white shark that existed at one point. Yeah, no.
First of all, that's the concept that's better than Jaws. Jason Statham doing karate on a shark. Come on now. What? Are you serious? That's
No.
Blockbuster. Hell yeah. Come on now.
No.
Now, I tell you what, if Bruce Lee was in Jaws, I'd give it to you guys. If they put him or Chuck Norris in Jaws, there'd be no argument here. You got to make it more appealing. That would have made it great. Chuck Norris versus a shark?
That's
Come
like Fast and the
on.
Furious going to space. Come on.
Yes.
Now we're getting
Who
crazy.
doesn't want that? I want
I
that.
don't.
I do.
No.
I want
Why?
them to go into the sun next. Because you got to make the stakes bigger. You got to make the stakes bigger. Low Wolfie said, what about Piranha? Piranha
Probably was
was
a good remake.
cinema.
It was fun.
That
It
was
fun.
cinema. That to me is cinema. That's how you make a movie. It's Piranha. That was beautiful. I could do without 3D. I hated the whole 3D phase. But Piranhas, I love that fucking movie. Are you serious? Yes. And Jayla, shout out to what's his name that's directing Doctor Strange 2? Why am I?
Sam Raimi.
Sam Raimi.
Sam
Thank
Raimi.
you very much.
Sam Raimi was the producer in that Alligator movie.
Crawl.
Because he should be. I love
And
Crawl.
Crawl
It's
was
great.
such a good movie. Yes, it
Because
was.
I think
Fine.
my friends failed me when it came to that, and they built it up so much that when I finally saw it, I was like,
oh,
There will be no Crawl slander on
You
this.
slandered
you were just
everything.
slandering Jaws.
Yes, because
Yeah.
that's not cinema. Crawl is cinema.
oh my
That
god!
is cinema.
You better end the
Alligators
stream,
were
Jayla,
eating
I'm
people.
gonna lose it.
Oh my
Alligators were
God.
eating people. That's all I'm saying. Trevon nodded his head, so he's with me. Thank you, Trevon.
Ooh.
All right, so I want to thank everybody.
I have a Funko Jaws. I like him so much.
I'm
Oh.
going
Look at
to.
Jaws.
I've
go
Look at
never
that,
seen
he's not
Jaws.
even eating
Shoot the
somebody.
tank.
I've never
Shoot the
seen
tank.
Jaws.
You gotta
He's
shoot the
not even
tank.
eating anybody right there. Come on
You
now.
gotta shoot the tank.
You gotta shoot the tank.
Nah, Deep Blue Sea. Those sharks don't die by tanks. They eat tanks. You serious?
Oh my.
My
But
God.
all right. I want to thank Sabrina, Trevon, Jayla, Blake, and Joe for joining me on this stream.
Got it.
We will be back live this Wednesday to break down episode 3 of Moon Knight. And episode 3 is a good one. Is a really, really, really good one.
How good, Jayla?
I will say it blows the last 2 out of the water. That's
Nice.
what,
Can't wait.
that's what I will
Okay.
say.
Can't wait.
And 4 takes it to a higher level
Damn.
than 3 does.
Stop hyping it.
No. I'm saying that just for Blake, because Blake knows, like, Blake is always asking me, like, the elements of the comics. Like, do we see this, this, and this? So I'm just speaking to Blake.
Gotcha.
I'm not speaking for everyone that's like, I don't really know Moon Knight. For Blake that knows Moon Knight, that's why I'm hyping it that way.
I'm so
But if
excited.
you don't know Moon Knight, just if you enjoyed 1 and 2 or 2 rather than 1, just know 3's right there. It's right there. It's right there. But we'll be back for that for Wednesday. And then, of course, Friday, we'll be back with an all-new GVN Talk. The whole crew will be here for GVN Talk. So I'm very excited about that. We might even get Shekinah back. Trevon, I know you know Shekinah. Jayla,
Okay.
Blake, Sabrina, Joe. You guys aren't familiar with Shekinah.
I miss you,
She
kind of.
was. Oh, yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Yeah.
So I'm getting her back either Wednesday or Friday. She's joining one of them. So stay tuned. I told her she has no choice. One of them she better be a part of. And of course, stay tuned. Jayla and Jamie are working very hard on our Twitch. So stay tuned for that. Gaming
So
is
excited to show
upon
you
us.
guys.
Look, I'm so excited for what they're doing for Twitch. I brought a whole new computer setup so I can maybe start streaming myself. So I'm getting prepared for that. And of course, we're going to be changing how our live streams go about. You guys saw us toy around with it a little bit. We're going to perfect it. We're working on it. So stay tuned for that. But we appreciate you guys. Lil Wolfie. I want to say everyone, Sith Morrison, Mr. E. Sith Morrison says, I'm about to give everybody an aneurysm. It's what I strive for. Mr. E, you're always invited on to our streams. I don't know why you don't join. You're always invited on. But we will do a whole bunch of really cool concepts for the Sunday shows, so stay tuned for that. And if you guys have any topics you want us to go over, whether it's Friday show or Sunday show, send us in topics. Send us in what you want us to talk about. Tag us on Twitter, Instagram, or in the comment section. Let us know what topics you guys want us to broach.
We should
for
talk
Friday
about how
show.
great of a movie Jaws
Sunday.
is.
Yes,
That's
that
fine,
would be
Jayla.
a great stream.
Jayla, you can host it. I will not be a part of it. So yes, you guys can have fun with that. Now, if we want to do a podcast about how Jake Paul is the best replacement for no,
Thanks for watching tonight, guys.
thank you guys. Thank you guys. Please go follow Joe at Just Your Average Joe on
Thanks,
Instagram
guys.
and YouTube. Make sure
Thank
you
you.
guys check that out. He will be breaking down Moon Knight weekly also, along with other movie reviews, show reviews. So make sure you follow him right now.
Do it.
Stop what you're doing. If
Stop
you're
it.
eating, drop your fork. Follow it. If you're
I don't
delivering a
care.
baby, drop the baby.
Even
Go-
if you're
go
in
subscribe.
surgery yourself, get out of the
Yes.
hospital.
If you're in surgery, take the clamps off, and walk to your nearest phone or computer and subscribe to Joe. Okay? If you're not that devoted to the cause, then get out of here. But we thank you guys, and we will see you same time, same place next week. Till then, peace.
Bye, guys.